Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's day 3 of the Schabusiness trial. I'm sorry I'm so late. I don't know if you guys read my Discord message. I was going over the vet bills and all the vet notes and all that stuff. We went to the vet yesterday to swap credit card for payment, and they're like, oh, by the way, you guys owe us like $5,000. And we're like, what? So, yeah, I don't know. They kind of fucked up when they gave us one of the invoices, and yeah, that's kind of a headache. But I don't know. Where should we start? Because I'm a little short on time today. And I know the trial is going to be ending maybe like 2 hours. But I saw that Schabusiness was doing her interrogation. We have like, I think 3 different types of interrogation videos that they went over today. There was some jury drama. When I say jury drama, it's just basically one of the jury members got a text message from like his coworker saying to like, hey, like saw you on YouTube or some shit. Yeah, I don't know. And the jury was like, what the fuck? Like, why was I on YouTube? So I don't know. I don't know if the court has found out yet at this point, but apparently the judge was going to scour the court cameras and stuff like that in case to see if there's anyone in the gallery that's like secretly taping the jury, which would be a really messed up situation. But there's that. And then, of course, Schabusiness defense was like, I call for a mistrial. And then the judge is like, no. I think he tried asking for a mistrial like twice, and the judge is like, nope, no mistrial. Nope. So what do you guys think we should start with? Should we start with the interrogation video? Are there like segments that you guys want to listen to? Because the Ted Bundy butt comes up again briefly, and Ted Bundy walking sexy in court. These are some Google searches that Schabusiness did on her phone, I think. Hello. Yeah, guys. I don't know if you guys saw my Discord message. I'm really, really sorry that I'm late. I don't know. The vet bill stuff is, we have to go to the vet later on and talk to the supervisor and deal with the vet bill stuff. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. It's stressful. You want to do the interrogation video? Okay. Do we get more phone content? Well, the satanic stuff, all those searches, I believe that's excluded. But all the Jeffrey Dahmer searches, Jeffrey Dahmer meme, that's, I believe they're allowed to talk about that in front of the jury. So I'm going to hop around to this part, and then we'll get to the interrogation then. So I've already watched most of the trial, but after the part where, I think after the interrogation, after the lunch break, after the jury stuff, that's when I couldn't pay attention to the trial. I had to do my invoice, take a look over and stuff like that. So we'll start with here, and then we'll jump around.
That is from the Google warrant, correct?
Correct.
And the exhibit that you have in front of you, 100, that's from the Google warrant, not from the phone itself.
Correct.
Mr. Farrell, do you have any questions to voir dire this witness regarding these exhibits?
Well, I asked yesterday for copies, but I don't have them, so I'll have to take a look. Can I look at those?
Sure.
Let's see. Where's the part where they...
Of the searches for information on Jeffrey Dahmer, the phone itself, what were the dates that corresponded with the photos of Jeffrey Dahmer?
Was February 6th, February 12th, and February 13th.
And are those consistent with the dates of the searches for information on Jeffrey Dahmer that you saw both in the phone and on the Google warrant?
Yes.
Now, do you know why the March 8th, 2022 date was assigned by Google when you received that from the warrant?
No.
But I just want to confirm that you did 2 separate searches. One is the phone itself, and then there's a second that is from the Google warrant, correct?
Correct.
And the exhibit that you have in front of you, 100, that's from the Google warrant, not from the phone itself.
Correct.
Mr. Farrell,
Hi,
do you have any
Tam.
questions to voir dire this witness regarding these exhibits?
Well, I asked yesterday for copies, but I don't have them.
Madison, hi.
Can I look at those?
Sure.
Should I 100
Correct.
shows different searches, is the size correct on it, like the number of bytes?
I would have to look at
And then it's got a modified date on there, is that fair?
that. I know, yes.
And it's got a source file, correct?
Is exhibit 99. Is that
Let's see. This is where they're talking to the judge.
These
In front of now, that is an extraction report built upon the return that you received from the Google warrant, right?
Correct.
Now, did you also review an extraction report from the phone itself?
Yes.
And when you looked at the extraction report from the phone itself, were you able to find dates that corresponded with the photos of Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yes.
And when you looked at the phone itself, what were the dates that corresponded with the photos of Jeffrey Dahmer?
Was February 6th, February 12th, and February 13th.
And are those consistent with the dates of the searches for information on Jeffrey Dahmer that you saw both in the phone and on the Google warrant?
Yes.
Now, do you know why the March 8th, 2022 date was assigned by Google when you received that from the warrant?
No.
So couple weeks before she murdered Shad, she was Googling Jeffrey Dahmer. And again, this happened in February 22nd. And what did she say? She was like February 8, 12, 13 or something like that?
Just want to confirm that you did 2 separate searches. One is the phone itself, and then there's a second that is from the Google warrant, correct?
Correct.
And the exhibit that you have in front of you, 100, that's from the Google warrant, not from the phone itself.
Correct.
Mr.
Hey,
Farrell,
Brandon, how are you doing
questions to voir dire
today?
this witness regarding these exhibits?
Well, I asked yesterday for copies, but I don't have them, so I'll have to take a look. Can I look at those?
Okay, so we're back at the replay. So essentially, she has like a selfie that she takes with her and Jeffrey Dahmer on like, I don't know if it was like a phone or iPad, or she printed out a picture or something like that. I couldn't really see. But there's a selfie of her, Jeffrey Dahmer. She Googled Jeff Boyardee, which is like some stupid meme. And she Googled Jeffrey Dahmer walking sexy in court and Jeffrey Dahmer's butt. So that's Taylor Schabusiness, y'all. Interrogation video. Now, I love listening to interrogation videos because I feel like it tells a lot about the perpetrator. Oh man, she got this yellow jumpsuit on. All right. So on the audio, when I was listening to, I felt like the audio was like meh. So maybe it'll sound better on my computer.
Clean the fuck up. What are you doing?
Oh God, no. Oh God.
So if you don't understand anything, please let me know. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. You have the right to consult with a lawyer before questioning, to have a lawyer present with you during questioning, and you cannot afford to hire a lawyer. One who will find to represent you at public expense before or during any questioning if you do wish. And if you decide to answer questions now, without
Audio is so bad.
Stop the questioning and remain silent any time you wish, including during questioning. Do you understand each of these rights?
Hey, Cheryl, what's going on over there, buddy?
Yes. Realizing that you have these rights, you know to answer questions or make a statement.
I think I would recommend wearing both headphones to listen to this. Jared. Yeah, the mic, the cameras I usually don't mind, but the microphone usually, we need a good microphone.
Well, a few hours ago, police were dispatched to Arizona Stony Brook. The parents also Shad. Hear you know Shad? I know Shad.
Oh no, the captions are barely working.
Your boyfriend?
What the heck
Well, they found
happened?
out of certain stuff at the house there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of blood. Basically Shad's head. Yeah, it's pretty fucked up.
Mm.
And then, so we know you were there at one point
Yeah.
with Shad. We also know you left. Now that van, is that your van?
No, that's my neighbor's.
Your neighbor's van?
Oh, the guy I was staying at?
Okay, so
Can you guys hear okay?
where did you go? Which way were the police get you? Was that on East Manhattan? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Is that where you live?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm staying there right now.
Okay, is that your apartment?
No,
No. Whose apartment is it?
that man.
Who is that man?
Got phones.
Scott?
Phones.
Okay. So, that's his van.
Yeah.
Scott Holmes' apartment, okay.
And so, did you leave from Shad's house and go to Scott's house sometime today?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they found part of Shad at his house, his mom's house. Found his head. Where's the rest of his body?
Ooh, where's the rest of his body?
It's there, inside his house.
Is it in the house?
Inside his house.
Okay. Well, tell me what happened.
It's a good question because I blacked out during that time. But,
Yeah. She blacked out.
I need time to, think.
No problem. Take your time, have some water.
I wonder how long she's gonna say she blacked out for.
Do you think the body's still there?
I don't see why not. Unless it's just up and move, which it could have.
Where do you think the body be?
I was right there by the bed.
By the bed?
Yeah, I was cuddling it by the bed.
You were what?
I was cuddling it by the bed.
You were cuddling the body with it? Okay. Was it just you and Chad down in the basement?
Yeah.
Was anybody else down there at any point in time? When do you think you went to Chad's house?
Shit. I was with like 2 days ago.
Okay. Did you stay there the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You sure remember now what happened with Chad? A little bit, or you remember some thought?
Shit. Oh, I don't know. There's this chain thing, right? And then yeah, like I was playing around with it.
Okay.
And like we were smoking the bitch, right?
Okay.
And then I'm terrible at explaining things, so let's see here. And then
Oh,
comes
God.
the chain, right? And then he put it around his neck. Well, we were like playing around and shit, and then I don't know, I was putting on him, and then, I don't know.
You say you're smoking a bitch, what would that be?
Ice.
Ice?
Ice.
Have you taken any other drugs tonight?
No, this is still from 2 days ago. I don't mind for a couple days.
Were you smoking?
I can't hear what she said.
And how, on a pipe or someplace else?
The one that's on the counter. Or
Oh,
on
the pipe. Okay, so they were smoking the
I
meth.
wrote the baggie there.
Yeah.
I did.
Where?
Green baggie, and there should be right
Well, where exactly? Eastman or Story?
on at the shed.
At Shad's. And you say, where was this place? Where would it be? In the basement or on the first floor or second floor?
Basement.
The basement. And it was ice in it, it was basically a bingo bag, type of little small plastic bag.
For sure.
Like that. And just you and Jack. And so there was a chain. What kind of chain?
It's the one that's on the same place as where the bitch and maybe on.
Where would that be again, please?
I think it's on the dresser.
Is ice and the bitch, is that used synonymously?
I don't know either. I haven't been there. I mean, as best as you can remember. So you think that there could be a chain and the ice on a dresser down in the basement?
It's just weird. I got like a weird flashback on it.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah, it's short. It goes real short.
What did you see?
It's just I don't even know anymore. Like it was weird. I was riding him like a donkey, okay, and then like I think so. I think that's what was happening. I was pulling and then I don't know.
Were you two being intimate, having sex?
It was getting there.
Just getting there, okay. So would this be considered foreplay?
Yeah, it was. And then I don't
Okay, so
know.
they haven't had
And
sex
then,
yet.
I just didn't stop. I don't know why. I didn't stop.
You guys done something like this in the past?
Not like that.
Do you use manual strangulation during sex at all? The shed like that?
A manual strangulation, yes.
Do you like strangulation?
I don't know.
You know what I'm
Yes,
talking
he
about?
does. Yeah. Yeah,
And you do too, or just?
both of us.
So what would you, so when's the last time you guys had sex besides potentially this morning?
Mainly me, but like we didn't even get it. Like, I'm sorry, but we didn't even get it.
Okay, so you didn't, all right, but when's the last time you did do
I
it?
mean, I played with him after. I don't even know, like August.
And what would you guys like to do? Is there a certain role playing that you did with Chad? Or was it just some sort of strangulation? How would you guys do your, basically have sex?
Yeah, I heard you're still married.
Just, like I just want you good. So, yeah, and we go at it.
But does anybody like strangle the other person?
I like them now.
All right, so you like being strangled, like having your airway, or do you like doing it to somebody else?
I like doing it to somebody else.
Does Chad like to be strangled during sex?
I have no idea. I think so.
Have you done it before
Yeah,
with him?
yeah, he does. He likes it.
Have you used what we call props in the past?
Yes.
What?
Well, like dildo.
That or rope or chain or underwear or anything?
Yeah. I shoved a dildo in his ass and mouth.
In the past or just recently?
When he was there, when he was on the bed. Yeah.
So obviously you said you smoked some ice. Do you take any prescription medications?
No.
You have any mental health issues we should be aware of?
I don't know. I don't know yet. I think
Have you been diagnosed with anything officially? Because I know that Chad has some mental health issues. It's correct to his mother. Since high school?
Yeah.
Where do you guys go to school together?
Before.
Before? Okay. Did you graduate the same class or?
Yes. He didn't graduate.
You graduated? All right. So then you guys were boyfriend and girlfriend at one point? For how long?
2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
2 years?
2 years.
And this is right after high school, or?
No, during high school.
During. And what year did you graduate?
16.
2016?
Yeah.
So you and Chad date after high school?
We seen each other.
Okay.
We definitely seen each other.
Seeing each other, but were you officially a couple, so to speak, or was it just, did you still have sex with him?
I did it once.
Just once?
Yeah.
After high school?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Sorry, I was muting because I was talking to Shiro, my dog. I was saying that, like, I wonder if the husband is just trying to write off the Schabusiness notoriety right now, because, like, she's like true crime famous, and this is probably the most limelight his last name will ever get. Maybe he's just trying to ride the wave, you know?
So when did you start seeing him again? Recently?
He's my buddy. He's my homie. So, like, you know.
So you've always been friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you get over to Shad's?
The minivan.
When do you think you went there? You remember?
2 days ago.
2 days ago? Okay. Did you stay there all the time, or did you ever pick him up and go someplace, or then come back? Or
Stay there.
how did you get in? Was Shad there when you got there, or Shad let you in? Or did you just walk in on your own?
He was there, we went in, got some shit, we came back, and then, methamphetamine, you know, and then, ice, and then we came back.
Okay, so you showed up at his place. Then you and him left.
She has a prison outfit? She looks like a fucking minion.
So then, we went, and, I picked him up, we went and got some ice, and then after that, we went to, back to Scott's, we smoked,
Okay.
yeah, and then,
Or that,
I did-
Jared.
did his haircut.
You did Shad's hair
Oh, yeah, I did,
at Scott's?
yeah, and then after that, I, trimmed his face, you know,
Mm-hmm.
feeling good, we left, we went back to his mom.
Okay.
I was looking for some crack, I never got some crack.
Yeah, right. Okay. So you went back to, it was just you and Shad go back to his mom's? Okay.
Oh, they took her clothes off immediately. Okay, gotcha. And then this is probably what they just had for her to wear. Oh, God.
Pete?
Or Scott?
Scott.
I'm gonna do that occasionally, and I apologize if I do get you sometimes. But
Alright, yeah.
did Scott, they come with you?
Scott stayed at home the whole time, at Eastman, that's his residence.
Okay. Alright, so you and Shad
He
went back
is
to
not
his-
involved at all.
Okay.
Scott's not
So
involved,
you and
okay.
Shad went back to Shad's mom's house.
Does Scott testify?
How'd you get in? Did you see, was anybody home?
There was someone. We went.
What time do you think this was? Was anybody home? Did you encounter anybody? I understand his mom lives there.
Sarah?
There?
Is that the mom's name?
Yes.
Damn, the head.
And then-
Yeah, I can't believe I left that.
Where'd you do the body?
The body's there. Yeah. It's,
So we're gonna take the head somewhere?
I like that.
You liked it?
Hey, Toy Box.
I'm trying to look for all the organs, but yeah, they're all dismembered. Yeah.
So you dismembered the body too?
Yeah.
And what did you do with the body parts?
Oh, they're in the house.
Somewhere?
They're like, yeah.
Basement, upstairs, downstairs?
Absolutely in the basement. I was gonna bring them. And then, I know I forgot the head. I wanted the head.
Did you bring anything with you?
Yeah, it's in the van.
What?
It's in the van. It's, what is it? A foot maybe.
The what?
I think it's a foot.
A foot in the van?
A leg.
The way that she, like, nonchalantly just talks about this.
I bring it all, and then I'm like, man, this is messy, so then I just left it. I got lazy.
Okay.
And that's what I did, so I'm like,
Okay. So there's gonna be maybe a foot or a leg in the van. And then,
yeah.
what did you do with the head?
I forgot that was in the van, so, yeah.
What did you do with the head?
The head, I put it in that bucket, that black bucket,
Black bucket?
with the blanket on top.
Okay.
Actually, I can't believe
And then where did you leave it?
Leave the head? That's still in the bucket. It's right by the stairs.
Upstairs?
Not a very smart person, I would just say. Got lazy, forgot this, forgot that.
How did you dismember his body?
Nice.
Was that
Nice.
knives? More than one knife? Where'd you get those from?
Kitchen. Just not find mine, and I wasn't sharp enough.
You weren't sharp?
No, it was alright. Bread knife works good.
Bread knife?
A bread knife works good, yeah.
Really?
I had to use what I used, so like, yeah. I got lazy last night, so
Where would these knives be now?
they're in with all the organs and all the body parts.
And where was that?
In the black bag. It's in the black bag of,
In the basement?
it's in the basement. They're all in the basement. I never left the basement. I just went up the stairs.
So all the body parts and knives will be in a black bag. What kind of bag?
Black zipper bag next to a pink and black Under Armour backpack. That jacket. I left it.
Is it a big bag?
Me.
What kind of stuff would you normally put in this bag?
Put anything in the bag.
Well, I mean, is it a trash bag or is it a garbage bag or is it, you know, any kind of bag?
Backpack.
No, the bag that has the body parts.
I have the backpack.
That's a backpack?
Backpack.
Is it a big one?
Yeah, the other one's like a little duffel, black duffel.
Okay. So you, at one point, did you bring these bags with you? Or were they already there?
I was gone, but I got lazy. And
Right, you're gonna bring them with you when you left. But were the bags there when you used them? Or did you
Did
bring
they-
them with you with Shad? Or did you just find them there?
Do they revisit the blackout part? Like, oh, what do you mean by blacking out?
they were there, I found them there, and I emptied them out and put them in there. And I was gonna bring it, and I got paranoid, and I got lazy. And I never get paranoid, but this time I was just like, I think it was the dope. I think it was the dope.
Got paranoid because of the dope? Okay.
So, did you want Shad to be dead?
No, it was out of random. Like, I wasn't expecting that, and it kind of threw
That's what I'm thinking, Tam. I was like, where's the blackout part? And she ends up telling up this entire story.
me off guard, and it was in an open place and all that.
She knows how long she choked him for. Sorry.
Alright, it's pretty open.
So I haven't done it, but is it?
It's so like it was weird. It was really weird. And you open the door to the outside, you go down the stairs, and it's right there. Like you can see everything. I was ready to go down the stairs.
And so, where did you get the chain?
I don't know, he pulled it out of his pocket.
You pulled it out.
He had two of them, one for me, one for him.
And can you describe them to me?
The chains were his.
Chain
Chain link?
and silver.
Silver? Okay. And what size? Was it like a dog chain or a large lock type of chain? You
They're
know what
like
I'm
this big. And then, and then it has O-ring.
saying?
Yeah.
So silver chains.
Yes.
And he had two of them. And what did you guys do with them?
We put them around their necks.
You did. Okay. And then what were you doing while they were on their necks?
I was strangling them.
You were strangling them.
I was having fun with them, and then,
Was their clothes on or off?
he had his shorts on.
You got shorts on. How about you?
I don't know. I didn't really care. But,
Did he ever put the chain around you? Did the chain ever around your neck?
I played around.
Do you have any marks or anything?
You didn't get the chance to strangle me.
Yeah, just eat. You didn't get a chance to strangle you?
No.
Was that, he was going to though? Or was that part of the?
And I thought that was the thing, and then like I don't know, I just went a little crazy.
So when did you realize that?
I need to read more updates about the Gilgo Beach murder. They did they searched his house and stuff, right? I need to look at that.
Shad was not alive anymore.
You know, his face turned purple. He was coughing up blood, and he was pissing.
It's just himself. His face was all purple.
I still didn't stop. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's blood, and then
So his blood was coming out of his
I kept
mouth
on
too?
feeling his heartbeat. Hearing his heartbeat.
I'm sorry?
Hearing his heartbeat start.
Okay. Did you hear it stop?
No, maybe, no.
So his face was turning purple. He was coughing out blood. She heard his heartbeat, she said.
Okay. So,
I'm gonna try to do it.
did you figure he was dead then?
Yeah,
And what did you do?
played with him a little bit.
Did you try to call his mom or dad or anybody else in the house? You try to call an ambulance? I know.
So, yeah.
So do you want him? You want him to die or you did? I'm trying to understand.
I didn't want him to die, actually.
But he did.
He's my buddy, but like it happened.
Happen again. But then, did you feel a need to try to help him? Stop choking him or get an ambulance? You didn't feel a need to do that?
I don't know why, I just, it happened so fast.
So then after you realized he was no longer, he was dead, his face was purple, he said his mouth, blood was going out of his mouth. What did you do?
Clean him up a little bit. And then, I just played with him.
You said play with Oni.
Played with his dick.
Okay.
Like I put him up over the bed, and then, stuck with it.
Okay. And you had him on the bed? What kind of bed? Was it an actual bed or just a mattress or what? Okay. So then you had sex with him?
Yes. And I had a dildo.
Okay.
I played with him too.
What did you do with the
And
dildo?
I just cuddled him and hugged him.
What did you do with the dildo?
I put it in his mouth, put it in his ass.
Okay.
Put it back. Put it back.
Where was this back? Where'd you put it back?
Hey, Beijing. Hello, hello.
It's like on the wall, next to the body, right, and then,
Hi, Anna.
Is it in a bag or on a shelf
it's
or?
in a wooden, box.
What about? Okay. And what color was the dildo? You just. So
Pink.
you had sex with him. You said dildo on. You said you cuddled for a while. And then what? You cuddled him. Were you on the bed with him?
Yeah,
So you cuddled his body. And then what did you decide to do?
well, because like before, like I felt for his, heartbeat, but then I still felt his heartbeat, right?
You did?
I did.
You felt it?
Yeah, so I kept on pulling more and more and more out back in. Almost like he wouldn't die. And then he was like rebuilding in the muscle, and I don't even know, it's crazy. And then,
The sheer morbidity of the crime, and she's so chill and casual, non-remorseful. I wonder if she just wants to be notorious. Fuck, man. Are we giving her the attention that she wants?
Before you had sex with him?
well,
Well, you had sex
There she goes smiling again.
with him.
we never had sex, but when we were getting there, I was just choking.
I understand that. You said that she played with his penis
Yeah.
after he was dead.
Oh, yeah.
Was it erect?
It was half.
Yeah. Did you?
Because, like, before we listened to this, I was calling her an attention seeker because she was, like, interviewing with someone, and then she was, like, she put, like, a staple in her arm to the part where she, like, had to, like, get some health attention because she was bleeding. She, like, wrote on the walls with her blood, like, happy birthday to someone. I forgot who. I don't know. She just may be, like, a severe attention seeker.
Even
What did you do with
after,
this penis?
I cut it off.
Did you ever place it in your vagina or any of your body parts?
No.
She'll be forgotten in
You
no
didn't use it as
time.
a dildo or anything? Okay. So you're saying then you're like choking on the stuff, and was he struggling at all?
Yes, big neck.
Okay.
He was good.
Were you trying to fight you? Sometimes people have a flight or fight, you know what I mean? The reaction that something happens, so they try to grab them.
Yeah, he did. And then
He didn't, or
No, he did.
did you get hurt at all? I see, you know, you had that cut on your thumb. How do you think you got that?
Oh, that was dismemberment.
How was this not?
That was a lot. Yeah, I got lazy in the process right now.
Did you use any other devices besides knives? Just,
She did, Chai. I saw that.
Were they from him?
Oh, no. I was,
And how did you?
so this one, I did by myself.
Oh,
This one, I probably did by myself. This one, I probably did by myself.
so they weren't him trying to grab you or anything? Did he try to grab you at all with his hands? Yeah. So the blood on your hands, would that be checked?
Because you know how some serial killers, when they're like caught, they'll tell police everything because they're like reliving everything and they want to make sure that all the details are there and correct. I don't know. She just may be one of those sickos where she wants some fame or something.
That blood?
Oh, probably. I'm telling you, I got super lazy tonight.
Promote your dream catcher business.
I
True.
really don't know. I blame it being on drugs and the compound that I'm coming down off of.
How many times do you think you've done this
I never do drugs. Like, I barely do drugs. I do drugs, but then, like, once in, like, a few, like, weeks. Not even like that. Like, months go by, and then I'll do drugs.
I see. And where did you dismember this? In the basement,
Because
right?
everything for done, yeah.
You do anything particular with the head or the body? What did you do with the blood? What happened to all the blood?
It's still in there, still in the tote. I mean, with the
The hill.
there's a shower in the basement. You go in the next side over, and I just dumped it out. And the drain is probably still there.
Where did you want? The bucket?
Yeah. Well, I drained his head. Well, like, after I covered his blood, I put it in the bucket, but then there's still blood in this bucket because it's coming out of the head. Should have took the brains and but I didn't do that. And then
So you cleaned his head in the shower and then dumped the bucket?
I should have cleaned his head in the shower. I should have polished it up, but,
Oh.
I like that.
She said she should have cleaned the
And what did you
brain.
use to smell that head again?
And I,
The knives. Were they, well, you said one was a butter knife. What kind of knives were they? Big knives or knives? Butcher knives?
they were the kitchen knives, so I was like,
Butcher block?
there was two, there was two like little knives there. And then, they were like probably 4 inches. And then, the other ones, they were probably like 6-inch knives.
And where were they in the
One was a
kitchen?
steak knife, one was a bread knife.
When you say
one
bread
bread
knife, is that
and
like
one
a serrated edge on it, or is it a flat edge on bread? You know what I mean by serrated?
It's great.
And where were these knives in the kitchen?
They were they were right next to the oven.
Were they in, like a knife holder thing, or in a drawer, or where?
They were in.
So she goes upstairs, grabs the knives that the family use, and use that to dismember him.
By the end?
I really like that.
How come you didn't?
That's how messed up my head was. Like, I was really messed up. Like, I don't know what was going on. I was just going crazy. And then, I don't know what was going on at all. Because this, I think it was the open area. I wasn't in a room by myself. There was no door. It's an open area.
Mm-hmm.
It was an open area. I didn't like it. It was different.
I think that's going to be explored in phase 2, Gigi. Phase 2 is the part that I'm more interested in learning about.
Or was there anybody else there?
Maybe upstairs.
Upstairs?
My older brother's deceased.
Why did you leave? Did anything cause you to leave the house?
I kept on hearing footsteps,
Okay.
gunshots. So,
And what else, I'm sorry?
gunshots.
Gunshots? Why did you think you heard those?
I had no idea.
Did you have a gun with you?
No, I did not.
Did you hear a gun in the house?
No, I think it was outside.
Okay.
Yeah, and then,
You afraid someone was coming
it was
there?
weird. I'm never paranoid, but then out of nowhere, like, I got a
Yeah, very right.
First, like, for a couple seconds, and then I go away, and then I go away and come back. It was weird. It was really, it was a weird night. Like,
Yeah, I would
I don't
imagine.
even know. Like, this one was weird.
Hmm.
I didn't like the openness.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Too much room.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Michelle had some questions for you. I'll take a break. Maybe for some water. You don't have much yet?
Yeah, he's got body parts in his hand, so he's gotta get that out.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I've been off of it right now. I blame the plastic drugs.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
Are you supposed to take any prescription medications?
Nope.
Okay. All right. I want to look at a couple other things.
No to prescription medication?
Okay.
Hey, biker.
We need to get there before.
All right, so I think they gave her a little break. Part 2 interview?
It's stitches, you got 24 hours. You cut yourself over 24 hours ago?
Oh, yeah, I just did it like 4 hours ago.
You did it 4 hours ago?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that's actually one of the things that we want to kind of do is we call timeline, just to kind of get an idea of what you were doing since you first had contact with Chad. How did you call him up? Did he call you up, or did you just show up at his house, or how did you decide to go over to his place?
Hey. I said, hey, come over here. And I went and got him.
You called him?
I mean, so far for phase 1, the judge found her competent enough to be in trial, so I'm sure that would carry over to phase 2.
What are you going to do, or
Yeah.
how? Do you have a phone?
No, it was actually from my friend AJ, our friend AJ.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where were you?
That's Scott.
Okay, AJ there too?
Yeah.
So you're at Scott's, and your friend AJ was there?
Yeah.
Was AJ's, any other, his last name or first
Big
name?
Gannon.
Huh?
He's Gannon.
Gannon?
Big Gannon, yeah.
What do you spell that,
Gannon.
Would Scott know who he is?
Yeah.
Was Scott there?
Oh, AJ testified yesterday.
Is he a black guy?
He's a black guy.
Okay.
He got 2 drugs.
Was Scott there then when you and AJ were at the apartment on Eastman?
Yes.
Okay.
We walked over there.
So you called Chad using AJ's phone?
AJ
Okay.
talked to Shad.
AJ talked to Chad.
Yeah. And he was like, hey man, come on, where's Scott? And then Shad was like, I might have done it right, but can you come get me? And then, so then, I
Did you
went,
text him?
yeah. So then he like, wait, never mind, I'm alright. So then we went and got him.
Okay. And then who went on?
I took him in.
Did you go by yourself or somebody else?
I grabbed it. I took AJ and I put him in the seat. And then,
So you and AJ went to Chad?
yeah.
What time do you think this was? So you and AJ were at Scott's, and AJ contacted Chad by text message, probably saying come over, something like that. Were you and AJ using drugs at that time?
No, we were smoking the yield with Mary Jane. But
Just smoking marijuana? Okay. So then who went and picked up Chad?
we grabbed. I put AJ in the front seat and then we went over to Shad.
Okay. And so how did you get there?
Hey, Paul.
Via van.
Did Scott know you were taking the van?
I said, hey Scott, I'm taking the van, I'm picking up Shad. And then he was just like, no. And then I'm like, okay. And I took it. Yeah.
Okay. So he didn't want you to take it, but you took it
But I
anyway?
took it anyway
Okay. And where did you go?
to Shad's house.
His dad's house? Mom's house? Where?
Mom's house.
Okay. Did you go inside the house at all?
I knocked on the door and said, hey Shad, come here. And then like, you came here? And then like, we came here.
All right. So then Chad got into the van, and AJ was in the van, and you, and then where'd you go?
And then we went to So me and AJ and Chad went to his dad's house, right?
Who's up?
We went to his dad's house.
Shad's dad?
Chad's dad went from his mom's to his dad.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, I don't know. And then, from there, we went and picked
Oh, I think Shad's dad actually testifies today.
up some dope.
So was anybody at Shad's dad's house? Was Shad's dad there?
Yeah, Chad's dad was there.
Okay. Did you talk to him or have contact with him?
So Michael B, yeah.
Okay. How long were you think you were at Shad's dad's house?
I don't know, like 10 minutes.
Okay. And where'd you go to store dope?
I don't know. Like, that's the thing. Like, I don't even know where it was. Like, I was like, put in the ID. And he's like, oh, and then he went and got it. And
So
then,
who made arrangements to get that?
maybe Chad? Chad?
Shad maybe?
Yeah.
So, do you remember, was it a business, a house, or a car? He met somebody in a car? What did it happen?
No, he was just like, hey, you got any pretty girls inside? I'm like, hell no, I'm gonna knock his ass out. But he says that, right? And then, like, for me to go in and get the dope, I'm like, I'm not getting the dope. I'm like, Chad, go get the dope. So Chad went and got the dope, and then he came back with the dope.
Okay, and where was this, do you think?
This was, I don't know, I have no idea. I just.
Was it a house or apartment? Or?
You said put the Addy in, did somebody use their cell phone to find the house address?
Could have been. Could have been.
You know, who might have looked it up.
I have no idea.
Maybe your Shad?
I have no idea.
But Shad's the one that went in to get the dope. How much did you buy?
Oh, that was on me. I gave him $100.
Okay, so you bought $100 worth of meth?
That's what I did.
All right, and is the three of you still in the van?
Yeah. Yeah, when he got back in.
And where'd you guys go?
We went back to Scott.
All right, now back to Scott's. Who's all there then?
Oh, I can't add the poll. It won't let me. Oh, there it is.
Chad and me.
And what'd you guys do?
There was a short uploaded by Court TV yesterday where she was making a gun motion towards the judge. No, I didn't see that.
He smoked. He
Smoke
smoked
what?
the reefer.
Marijuana?
He smoked the reefer. I didn't smoke the reefer. You know, they smoked the reefer.
Who had that? Who had the reefer? Someone bring it with them, or is that already there?
It was, the reefer was there. The reefer was there. And then after that, me and Chad, we were talking on the bench. And then after that,
So you and Shad smoked some meth at Scott's?
Chad just smoked somebody.
So where were you guys located?
I mean, you're not in danger unless Jody's in love with you.
That would be Eastman.
Right, were you in an apartment? But were you in a bedroom, in a living room, in the kitchen?
Bedroom.
Was Scott using any of it?
He was chilling on the chair, rocking back and forth.
Did you see you guys smoking meth or marijuana?
No, that's all behind him. You can't see. You can't see it, no.
Why not?
Because that's behind him.
Okay.
He's facing this way, we're this way.
Okay. So then the three of you smoking marijuana and you and Shad smoked meth. And so then what happened then? Who went where?
I started cutting Chad's hair.
That's right, you said you
Yeah,
gave him a haircut.
Give him a bit of haircut and everything, and then right after that,
She was cutting his hair?
AJ was just like, you want to go. So then I'm like, all right, see ya.
Did you left on it on?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he tried it on foot. And me and Chad, we took out. I shot him up, and I took him out. I had one shot too.
And where did you get that stuff from?
That's the same place.
I know it. Oh, so you bought it with the meth, you bought the other stuff too? But where did you shoot them up with?
Same shit. The trazodone?
Yeah.
I crushed it up.
And where did you get the trazodone from?
The table.
The table, where's the table located?
Right by Scott's.
Was it Scott's trazodone?
Yeah, he gave it.
Are you sure it's trazodone?
They still did on the bottom.
So you took some pills from where? You said on a
From
table?
the counter.
On a counter?
Yep.
And is it trazodone on the label?
Yep.
And was it Scott's pills? Was Scott's name on there too?
Yeah.
And you crushed them up, and then what did you do with them?
I put it in the syringe, I pulled it back, and then I shot him.
What? Wait, so you crush trazodone, you put it in the syringe, and then you shoot it? What?
And you said you took a shot too?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Where did you get the injection? Where did you inject them at?
I got it from a friend.
No, but I mean, when you shot.
Where did I shoot him up?
Yeah.
Shit, probably in the arm.
I don't remember what mic this
You said
one
you got
is.
a hypo from a friend?
I don't remember.
Have you used drugs they call intravenously some needles before?
Yeah.
Alright, so were you guys in a bedroom, in a living room, someplace else where, bedroom? Okay. And then what do you guys do?
And then, we just took off.
Hey, Storm.
Because, we just headed over to.
I think trazodone's for like anxiety. It's a downer.
We drove into the driveway, right? Opened the door, we went down the stairs. We chilled on the bed, and right after we chilled on the bed, he put the collar on.
So you would
He put the collar on.
Scott's van. Did Scott know you were leaving?
I said, hey, I don't even know, actually.
I think she said she was on meth and trazodone, but I don't think she mentioned saying. I think they smoke weed, but I don't think she participated in smoking weed.
I don't know.
Do you remember what time that was, or was it day? Dark out, light out? Night, you know what I mean? What time did they think?
Like 12 maybe, I'm just gonna guess. I really have no idea. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
Was it dark out?
Yeah.
Okay. So you went to Shad's parents' house, Shad's mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
Did you meet anybody as you were arriving?
No. He didn't.
All right, and then you went into the basement.
Yep. Open the door and then into the basement, down the stairs, and then
Yeah.
onto the bed where you click on the collar.
Was it right away you started doing that?
I don't know. This is what I remember.
How long do you think you were in the basement?
Until I left. I really don't know.
Was it during the day at all?
I really don't know.
Did you sleep at all?
I mean, I was playing with him all night, so
Because you're playing with him all night?
yeah.
What about during the day?
I know when he's in the day, I still was playing with him. But like, are you talking about the trophy session? 'Cause,
Well, from the time you got to Shad's mom's, how long do you think you were there before you left?
like, until he like died, or like
No, until you actually left.
until I
And went
left?
back east. Yeah, so by the time you first got there to the time you actually left,
I don't know. I don't do times. Like, I really don't do it.
was it overnight?
Yeah.
So I'm asking because
Yeah, how long were you doing this for?
the time it's the boyfriend see.
Did at some point the boyfriend have to let you in,
Shit.
into the house?
Who don't lock the door
Did he unlock the door
and open it?
and open it for you guys?
He did.
Okay, so when you guys got there after shooting up the first time and
Yeah.
coming back in Eastman, he did open the door for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then, from then till the time you left, how long do you think it was? A whole day? An hour? You know what I mean?
It was shit. I don't even know. Like he
So you got there and Chad's mom's boyfriend let you in.
Mhm.
And you went to the basement. Did you start getting together right away, or did you sleep for a while, or what do you think you remember he did?
We went there. 5 minutes in, I was already choking him.
All right, so it happened pretty quick.
Yeah.
You talk about you were playing with him.
My husband was different with the corpse.
Was it light out at some point? Was the sun out?
When I looked out the little window, I seen it.
You could see light?
I could see the
So
light.
you were playing with him when it was light out?
Yep.
All right, so.
Yeah, she's so
basically, when you
blasé
said
about
within 5
this.
minutes of getting there, you guys started, he pulled off the chains, I guess you were saying?
Mm.
And he put it on his neck.
Yeah.
Did you put one on, you never put one on yours, or did you put one
I
on?
did.
You
I
did?
did. It was tiny. I finally got it around and I put it on my neck and I took it. After he was gone, but
So, you started choking him, and when you were choking him, what did he do? What were you guys doing, I guess, is to try to explain it as best as you can.
he was coughing up the blood, right, and I was just waiting for him to die, and then like I was looking at his broken face.
Well, did he
During
expect
the
did he expect to have sex with you?
Because I felt like it was fucked up. I'm like, damn, I'm already this far, so then I just like, yeah.
I understand, but why would he put the chain around his neck?
Because he's a kinky mother, yeah.
So was he expecting to have sex with you then? Kinky sex?
I would assume so.
But you said he just started choking. How long did it take for him to die?
Like, 3 to 5 minutes maybe. But, I don't know. I have no idea.
You said that when you were choking, you started coughing up blood.
She's not testifying.
Oh, yeah.
And you just decided that.
I like to see what happens.
So you just kept going harder and, okay.
I
You wanna see what happened when he died?
I just watched it.
Can you imagine if she testified? What a disaster that would be. Oh my God. No test. She didn't testify. Her lawyer's not putting her up on there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this one was different. This one was common.
Blood.
So when he put the chain around his neck, he thought that you guys were going to have kinky sex, right? You think that's what Chad was thinking, maybe?
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
I was gonna do the same thing. You know, I was going in, and I did, and I went in. But then he was like, choke me, but he didn't really say it, so I'm like, he put it on his neck. I already know I'm gonna choke him, and I did. So.
All right, so before that, did you guys, was there any foreplay?
We launched onto the bed. We went from the stairs to the bed, and then, yeah.
Were clothes on and off?
Yeah, now good.
But before you chain went around his neck, were you and Chad like kissing or any foreplay or anything?
No, we were chilling, we're home.
You just chilling. So all of a sudden, the chain went around his neck?
Yeah.
How come? I'm just trying to get it.
He likes it.
All right.
I was gonna walk him like a dog.
You know, and he wanted that?
I have no idea, but I was gonna do it anyway.
Okay. And you're claiming it was his idea? With the chain? Hmm?
No, it was his idea. It was all him.
Right, so
She said she was gonna walk him like a dog, and then the detective was like, "Oh, he likes it." And she's like, "Oh no, I have no clue. I was gonna do it anyways." And she starts laughing.
you're on the bed, the chain goes around his neck and you start choking him. And you just realize that he was gonna die or what?
I'm just like, shit. I think I went a little too far, because I was blacking out while I was doing it, right? And then like, and then like, I look at him, I'm like, shit, he's already purple. I'm like, fuck, I'm like, I don't know if he's fucking, is he good? But then like when I woke up, like, you know, like during the blackout, I'm like, shit. Like he was coughing up blood, I'm like,
Wait, did she say when she woke up?
fuck, I'm like, I don't know if he's fucking, is he good? But then like when I woke up, like, you know, like during the blackout, I'm like, shit. Like he was coughing up blood, I'm like, I don't know, I just kept on going, like, yeah, sorry.
You made the comment, you said that when you were choking, you was coughing up blood, you kind of were like, yeah, I'm gone this far, I'm just gonna keep going. Did you realize that by continuing that may kill him?
Like, yeah, because I felt bad because I'm like, damn, he's gonna be using that for this. I'm like, might as well just kill him.
Okay. So you realize that by continuing that you may actually kill him then?
He was, I swear to God, he was telling me, he's just like, just do it. So I'm like, oh, and I did it.
Okay.
Like, I swear to God, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, I accidentally fucked up and then I fucked. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. All those
And
movies.
you also said that you enjoyed it, right? And I enjoyed it.
It's the audit they need to work on.
What'd you enjoy about that?
I'm just,
Was it kind of thrilling, a rush, exciting? What was the feeling that you got out of it?
that's all it is. I don't know.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand what you were feeling, you're saying.
Yeah.
So enjoy it. You know, did it make you happy? Was it just kind of exciting? Like opening Christmas presents
Like,
or?
I don't know. Like, this is the thing that I have, like, I've always had, you know, like, you ever love something so much that you kill it?
Did you say? You say you ever love something so much you kill it? No.
Yeah, it happens to me. That's the feeling that I have. I love something so much that I kill it. Like, I love it so much and then I kill it. That's what happens to me.
Tell us more about your history, Taylor.
All right, so he dies, he's dead. And then you just kept playing with his body? Okay. And when did you decide to, how long did you play with his body, you think? Is that when you thought it was booked outside and it might have been light out too?
I don't know, it's still dark.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know, it's gotta be like, I don't know, maybe 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours.
True, she is a
Is that
mom.
also when you
Scary.
used a dildo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have sex with his body at all? At any point, or any type of sexual contact? You know, obviously the dildo and stuff,
Put the
but
dick in his ass.
hmm?
I grinded on him, I put the dick in his ass.
You riding on?
Yeah, I listened.
Did you ever put his penis in your vagina? Or you just grind on him?
Did you say before that you performed a role on him?
Yeah.
Okay, and that's after you said.
He's got a 2-year-old.
Yeah, and then he got half, it was like half hard while I was still sucking while he was dead. Yeah.
Okay.
You would think from her Facebook post, she just seems like normal, like posting pictures, saying Happy Thanksgiving from my family to yours. Like, I don't know, it's just like stuff like that.
Okay.
And was that part of playing with him, or
That is part of playing with him.
That was part of the name.
did you?
Actually, I was just, I was never gonna tell you.
True, she's just a biological
I
mom.
was doing that too, Will.
You're sorry.
Yeah,
So when, so it wasn't only a couple hours before you severed his head? Did you fall asleep at any point in time, or? So how long do you think you were in that basement? Because you didn't leave until like 3 or 4 this morning, right? What about during the day? What did you do during the day?
Is this still going on?
I don't know, like I was kind of like dozing off, like you know, nodding out.
Wait, are they doing closing arguments right now? Or what are they doing? I see someone standing up. What's going on right now, guys?
He was dead already? Was his head still on?
No, I took that off. That was the first thing I took off.
Okay.
I wanted that.
What about the rest of his body?
I didn't even take it. And then the rest of his body, it's like I was fucking I don't even know what it is. It's in a big blue container, you know? And
Is it
it's a big
a container?
Tupperware. It's like a big Tupperware. It's not Tupperware, but it's a Tupperware container, like a
Maybe storage code?
yeah, one of those. And then
So that's where body parts are in? Or are they, I thought just they're in a black bag?
they're scattered around.
Okay, so both probably. But when did you start, cutting up his body?
I don't know, like almost right away. I was sucking and cutting at the same time.
Okay. Then what about the rest of his body parts? Did that take all day? Did you?
I was getting pissed off at the dismemberment process, actually.
Did it take a while?
It took a while.
Yeah, because like I was nodding out. So
Okay, so you're kind of skipping, kind of nodding in and out. Have you taken any other drugs?
I should have took drugs. I probably would have helped, but I didn't. And I just sat there. Yeah.
Do you remember it being daylight at all?
Yeah, when I looked at the window and I seen the daylight.
And was his body together still then?
My
Or?
body was never together. It's just like I had fun with him for like 2 hours and then boom.
So but it took a while to cut the rest of the body up? Okay.
All messed up too.
So, I'm just trying to, so I understand the rules. So you said you cutting and then you got a knot off, kind of wake up and start cutting again.
Yeah.
So it took you a little while to cut the body apart. There were times where you went after whatever, it wasn't, you didn't work nonstop to dismember his body, right?
I mean, I probably did. Well, in my sleep, I do things in my
You
sleep.
do things in your sleep.
But yeah, but like, that's probably it right there.
Did anybody ever come downstairs at all?
Tara came down. She came downstairs and then with the kitty cat, and then she set the kitty cat down. And flip over the kitty cat, and the kitty cat was walking around. And I threw the kitty cat, and then yeah.
Did you talk to her?
I'm like, hey Tara. I don't know, it's just weird. Cause like it was an open space, you know, like there's no closed door and all. It was weird.
Did she saw anything?
I have no idea. I have to ask her. The fish is like,
So you think she came down at one point and dropped the kitty cat off downstairs in the basement?
Yeah.
Nice.
How long was she in the basement, just shortly to drop the cat, or?
Yeah, she just came down there, dropped the cat off, to go use the kitty litter,
Okay.
the box, and then she moved right back upstairs. Yeah, and then
Oh, excuse me.
All right, so then throughout this process,
Hi,
You would
Stephanie.
cut off a body part with one of the knives.
Yeah, I chugged
And you
a,
would put it in the bag or the tote or something like that.
actually, I don't even know. Did I chug a milkshake earlier or something?
Yeah, I was still tweaking out, so I was like, oh, yeah, I'm in, you know, like, wow, it's gonna go. So I grabbed another one, and then I was cutting it, and it was gonna go. Now, and I was tweaking so late, I'm like, oh, shoot.
No.
I've done that.
It was
I didn't
very
think about what
satisfying.
happened, and I'm like, I fucked up, I know I fucked up. I'm like, shit. Yeah, I'm sorry. That's what happened.
No, you know, it's Bailey's got a mom and a sister and a dad.
So the trial will be done in two phases. The first regarding Schabusiness charges. The jury finds her guilty. The second phase will focus on whether Schabusiness is responsible for the crime or she's suffering from a mental disease or defect at the time of the killing. I thought that usually that's combined into one. Like they figure out if you're like throughout the trial, you know, you do like Letitia, right? Guilty or not guilty by insanity. But maybe Wisconsin does things differently, or I don't know. I'm a little not in this state. Okay.
Dad and family and more than being sorry, you know.
Interesting.
You killed them.
You gotta tell the sister sorry. Didn't mean for that to happen.
You need to kill them.
I
But you didn't try to help them.
No, I didn't. No.
So he said that he wants to say sorry to his sister. Didn't mean for it to happen, but when she was testifying up there, she was like giggling in some parts of her testimony.
First of all, wait, like I have no idea. Like it
You was gonna
gotta
die.
be put into change.
Right, you was gonna die, so.
I mean, I didn't, but at the same time, I woke up like, fuck, that's bad. I didn't know what to do. Cause like he was gonna like, ah, fuck, I didn't know. You know what I mean? Cause like, I don't know.
But you liked it?
I liked it. But I'm like, fuck, like it was, like, I didn't know what to do. Cause like, oh, I like it though.
Well, you knew and that you didn't want to call the police or ambulance or anything, so.
Actually, I thought about it. And then I was getting angry at myself. Very angry at myself. Because I didn't have a practical.
Yeah.
Sucks not having that.
Was it a sexual side to you when you were choking? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Very.
Was it exciting when you were sucking on his penis after he was dead?
It was very exciting. Everything was fine. We should check on my panties. Boom.
Hey, can you see a second? I gotta ask you a question. I just want to kind of clarify something that's quick. Kind of raw, read it shortly.
All right, so this is same. Is this same day? They cut off the date right there. I don't know. We'll just call this part 2. She's wearing something different. She's wearing a blue thing.
Probably, I believe he's gonna stop. It won't take long. So,
And I don't know why she's laughing, but she's laughing again.
after the incident where you choked him out, can you describe how you placed him before? Because you said you cut his head off first, correct?
Yeah.
Can you describe where was he laying on the bed?
I pulled him.
Okay.
Like, say this is the bed.
Okay, so this is the top of the bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I pulled him. And then his head was hanging off.
So you're probably laying face out. So
Yeah.
his back was on the bed.
His back was on
his
the bed.
head's partially off the bed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the tub was like right there.
The pail that you had the
Yeah.
head in before.
I think the victim's family are in the courtroom right now. Holy shit, I would be so fucking upset if I saw her fucking laughing.
Okay. So basically his head's here and the bucket's right here.
Yeah, and then from there, I said it.
You cut his head off.
Yeah.
Okay. After you cut his head off, I know you said you dumped the pail at one point into the shower.
In the shower, yeah.
Okay. Did you leave the body there for a while to drain into the pail, or what? How?
It's all in the tub, in the blue tub. You found the blue tub.
Sorry, they do mention why she had a change of clothes. I don't know if it was before the video played or if it's afterwards. I don't remember. I just had this playing in the background.
Alright.
I don't know if they're slowly going through this thing, so there's a lot of his blood. Did you pull the tub under there? Then?
Oh no, I moved the tub like real fast.
Oh, so you cut the head and pulled the tub under there.
No, when I was dismembering the body,
Yep.
it was, I mean, I'm going like this with a knife, so there's blood fucking going everywhere, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, and then,
But initially, when you cut his head off, there was a pail underneath, correct? Okay, so the head went into the pail,
Yeah.
the blood went into the pail, did the blood bucket fill all the way up?
Oh yeah, we were wondering this. I don't believe she is shackled. I think her hands and her legs are free actually, because I saw her get up and walk, and she looked like she was walking pretty normally. It seems like it at least.
Blood?
no,
No? Okay.
No.
Then, did you move him again when you started with the pail? Because you're talking about that blue Tupperware thing.
So I think there's a black pail, and there's a blue Tupperware thing, right? And then his head was hanging off. And then I cut the head off, and then I moved it over, and I brought it back, and then I put it in the pail.
Okay, so initially the head went into the blue Tupperware thing, kind of?
Yeah. There's a lot of blood in that one right
In the
now.
blue Tupperware thing.
Yeah.
At any point did you, like, before you, because you said you removed the head first,
Mhm.
did you start removing limbs right away, or did you kind of wait a little while? And,
That's the weird thing, like, because when it started happening, like, I started, like, nodding out.
okay.
And then I was going crazy on the limbs, like, even while I was sleeping. And then it looked messed up, and I didn't like it.
Okay. But you believe the blue tub, that big tub, like, probably, I'm thinking it's the way you're describing, it's only, like, Tupperware tubs about like this size, kind of that 2 cubic 1 foot one, and that's where most of the blood is,
Oh, so
along
gassy.
with a bunch of his organs.
The organs are everywhere, too.
His organs are everywhere.
Yeah.
Did you, like, hide organs in the house?
Oh, they're in plastic bags. They're in plastic bags.
In the tub?
In backpacks.
In the backpack.
In the backpacks, and then in the...
Did you remove all organs, like his intestines and everything, or where are the intestines? Do you remember?
They're gonna be in plastic bags.
They're all in plastic bags.
They're gonna be in plastic
So that
bags.
blue tub is almost just all blood, is what you, I thought you were saying.
It should be like only like this much.
Alright. Okay, we're just trying to clarify a couple things, we're just trying to make sense of something,
Yeah.
okay?
Okay.
Alright, I appreciate it, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are yourself?
Alright, can we talk a few minutes again?
Yeah.
So, out at the house right now, there's, you know what a medical examiner is? They're the ones that kind of like take care of people that died and see how they died. And so, you know, they have a bunch of questions for us that we really can't answer. And the biggest questions that they have is exactly how did you dismember, shed?
Nice.
Did you, you know, cut arms, or I mean, was it just internal organs, or?
So you started on the head, right?
Yeah, and then I don't know where I'm from there. I just want to.
Did you cut it, or did you remove his arms? Okay, can you show me where you would cut on the arms?
Right there.
Right at the elbows, was this part of the arm left on?
You gotta go in that blue bed.
Okay, look.
Yeah.
But you know that you cut off at the elbows? Okay, you cut both arms off at the elbows?
You better be careful. She's staring into your soul.
I hope so.
For sure.
Because like I was saying that dismemberment process I did was like really messed up because like I was nodding out, and then I was like sawing it off.
Did
Did you use just a knife?
Just the knives all like, yeah.
Did you remove any part did you dismember his legs at all? What was your on the legs?
I think there's one leg that's
Nah, she ain't smart enough, Tam. She ain't smart enough.
actually.
She too
intact.
dumb.
And then maybe.
There he goes.
I have no idea.
Where was his body located when you did this? Dismemberment? Was it in one spot, or?
Yeah. It was all in the same spot.
And where's that again?
Blue tub.
So the body was in the blue tub as you were cutting it up? Okay, did you empty the tub at points, or, you know what I mean?
Was there a bed down there, or just a mattress, or?
There was a mattress that was laid down. There should be blood on the sheets. Like a lot of blood, but I tried to get it off.
Wait, sorry, I have packages. Oh, I'll be right back. But I listened to this already.
I can't fucking think right now. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm fucking nuts.
Yeah, you know, because, like I said, just, yeah, you know, how to figure it out eventually, but, they just got some questions about, like, where blood might have went, or most of it went. I mean, you said a
That was
bucket,
drained.
or, yeah, that was drained, or that. But it was, when you took off his head, was he lying on a mattress, or was he someplace else?
I had his head hanging off, and
Mattress.
then I was sawing it.
But was a bucket underneath his head?
Yeah.
So it was high enough?
I don't know, it just dropped in there.
What's that?
It just dropped in there after I got the bone.
But it was high enough that it could stand up underneath the body, you know what I mean? So let's say the body visited the bed, the bucket was able to fit underneath there. Was that bed was high enough for a bucket to fit there? Or would it have to be on its side or something, bucket?
No, the book was just fine where it's at, on the edge of the bed,
On the floor or on the bed itself?
on the floor.
Okay.
So there's a box spring and then there's a mattress.
You know, what do you think should happen if somebody does something like this to somebody else?
I don't know, they obviously get prison time, I don't know. Whole lot, like, I don't know, this was out of random.
Think it was the right thing to do?
No, I did it anyway.
And I just want to clarify, when he had the chain around his neck, were you behind him
Yeah.
and kind of put just one end or two ends or the chain or?
There
And just one, but you would hold it, how to, you know, I mean, because if you wrap a chain around someone's head, you just hold one end of the chain, the other end is going to go loose.
No, so if you seen, there was a ring, and there's two rings, and then like you can pull the chain.
Wait, she was behind him? I thought she was like on top of him or something, and like they were like face to face or something.
From under the ring and then pull it back.
All right, so that a loop at the end of the chain that could go around, kind of like a dog choke collar.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, do you think it was a dog choke collar?
Could have been, very much so.
Was it that size?
It was that size, or a large dog.
All right, and so then you would have been, was he laying on the bed? Or kneeling or something else?
He would have been on his stomach.
Something like that?
Yeah,
Is that what
exactly.
you're talking about?
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
Yeah, what I recommend, you have to listen to this with both headphones in. That's the best way. It's like, it's a lot of it's like you're catching phrases and words here and there. But yeah, there's like some things that she says, like, I just have no idea what she's saying. It just sounds like mumbling. But yeah, the best way is just have both earbuds in. I was listening to this on speaker and iPad. It was very like, it was very meh.
And there were two of those, correct? You said there was one for, that was on the end. Yours was
Yeah.
smaller.
Yeah.
Here, make it louder.
Does this guy look familiar to you at all?
But it's
Mr.
like
Bannon?
garbled.
Vaguely?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's one.
So he was lying face down on the bed? Or was he just on his hands and knees?
He was
Or
lying face down on the bed.
okay, you're on top of him? On his back?
Down, I was on his back.
Oh, it was face down.
Pulling the chain back. Okay. All right. Hopefully that, hope that, you know.
So you guys find all the parts here.
So
Yeah.
going through the process of looking. So, did you remove any other, you said you had the heart and the liver, how about the lungs? Did you remove all that from the chest cavity? Or did you leave them in there? Or
It could be in there.
do you remember? Or
They're all in plastic bags.
separate bags or one big bag?
They're all in separate bags, the longer bags.
Oh.
And
All right.
goodbye.
Long should be low. Okay. Are you doing all right? You need anything or hungry or anything? Or
More anything.
what?
Just one thing.
Well, you're right. I mean, you don't need any food or you got water, obviously. So if you need anything or you go to the restroom, knock on the door, and then you realize that, you know, you're probably going to jail after this when we're done. So
I didn't know that.
I'm just, you know, telling them what it is, and I'll make screw around with it anyway. So
Alright. Yeah.
no, you've been forthcoming with us, so we're going to be forthcoming with you.
Thank you.
And we appreciate it.
I mean, like Dave said, if somebody kills somebody and dismembers them, do you kind of think that that person probably should go to jail?
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, this shit was fucked up, so, like, I don't even know, like, I'm like, god damn. Yeah.
So, you know,
Yeah.
we see where we're coming from and what we got going personal.
Sucks.
All right.
You need something to sit on, but
Thank you.
Detective Graff, the video that we all just watched, is that video
I'm gonna boost the audio.
accurate and consistent with what you recall from your in-person meeting with Taylor Schabusiness on February 23rd of 2022?
Yes.
Just want to address one thing. At the beginning of the video, she's wearing a yellow outfit. Toward the end, she's wearing a blue outfit. Can you explain that for the jury?
When she went to the hospital to have her thumb checked, the hospital changed her into the blue scrubs.
Oh, okay. So it's like all on the same day.
And then you indicated there was also the recorded interview from the 28th. I intend to play a much shorter portion of the interview from the 28th.
All right, another interview from the 28th. So this is like what, like almost a week later? Oh, God. I hope audio is better in this one. Let's see.
I was staring at it, I was looking at it right as I'm like,
With the wound fingers, is that why you your chest head and you kept mentioning that you liked it?
I was gonna take it and I just left it. I was staring at it, I was looking at it right as I'm like, right.
No, this is worse. No, this is worse. Oh, what is this audio? Okay, I'm putting second earbud in.
I was gonna go up the stairs and I just like, I left it there. Like I was gonna come back, I wasn't gonna come back, and I left it there. And I had his foot.
Yeah.
If I can listen to bits and pieces of it, I'll try to transcribe it.
You were gonna eventually take all the parts, you said, did you?
Yeah.
Did you take all the parts with you? No.
Did something spooky?
Oh, I kept on hearing like footsteps up and down the stairs, up and down the stairs.
Something about hearing footsteps when she was downstairs.
That's your question.
What would be the?
You remember wiping up the concrete floor and then you remember wiping up the...
Yeah, with the Clorox bleach.
Clorox bleach.
Okay. And then you put those in the bags, remember that? What do you do with those Clorox bleach? What do you do?
I think, yeah, I have no idea.
Okay, would you use those to wipe up the blood?
Yes.
Did you move that
Yes, I did.
to cover that up?
Yes.
Okay. And you remember...
I know, that's what the one next to the AC vent. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Cleaning like the you know how the standing showers and then finished part of the basement? There's that shower. Do you clean that area up too?
Absolutely, that's my ability.
Like with water or...
Something about the shower. Did you clean that area? She's making scrubbing motions.
You use the speed. That's right, there is speed. And still, that see what you saw.
I don't know why is that in evidence. I don't know if the jury even got anything out of that.
You're feeling? Were you anxious, angry, excited?
Well, when I woke up and I seen that this happened and there was like the environment around me, and I was like, it feels like I'm on a hidden camera TV show right now.
They asked her if she was anxious, she was angry. She said when she woke up in this environment, she felt like she was in a TV show.
I was like, woke up. Yeah, I was angry. So,
Is that the part that she meant when she said blacking out then? Is she explaining that?
I was really pissed off and freaking out a little bit.
Yourself?
Yeah, very much so. One, the victim was like my friend, right?
Yeah.
And two, it's it was an open area,
I'm saying that.
very open area. I didn't like that one bit.
It's an open area, very open area.
The dismemberment process was awful.
Dismemberment process was
Can you go
awful.
into a little bit on that?
Yes, pressures, for you to jump into that?
Sure.
Were you cleaning up so that you would get out?
Well, yeah, to the best of my ability, I almost like called on myself like 4 times because I'm like, there's no fucking way. There's people upstairs.
Sure.
There's people upstairs. I'm like, how am I
She was something 4 times. She was saying there's no way, there's people upstairs, there's people upstairs.
going to get away with this at all?
She doesn't think she's gonna get away with this because there's people upstairs.
No one knew your thoughts when you were
Yeah,
chopping them up.
yeah. I was just like, there's no way I'm going to get away with this. And now I'm fucking
That was your thoughts when you tied him up? Yeah, I thought there's no way I was gonna get away with this.
screwed.
And that's part of the reason you put them in different bags or cleaning up, is that correct?
I was cleaning up, but then, like, when I said I was tripping out, the body looked like it was rebuilding itself because I already cut off his arm, and his arm came back on. I'm looking at this, I'm like, there's no way.
Something about trying to put the arms back, but the arms came back off. She looked at it and she was like, no way.
You know, and I'm like, am I that high?
Would you
No, she was asking herself if she was that high.
cut it off again?
Yeah.
So,
And it took forever. Oh.
yeah, I know what you're talking about, because one of his arms had where you cut it. We never cut all
Yeah. That's weird because I cut it all the way off. And then that's, I'm just saying that, like, I don't know.
Was it to easily move him because he's a bigger guy than you?
Because I'm looking looking at this, I'm like, how do I get Shad out of here? Can't just leave Shad here. Like,
She said, how am I going to get Shad out of here? I can't just leave Shad here.
hey, Mom, Shad's dead. So,
Shad's dead.
yeah.
We think she is a Dahmer fangirl. She was Googling Jeffrey Dahmer's looking sexy in court. Jeffrey Dahmer's butt. She took a selfie with like Jeffrey Dahmer's face. What a loser.
And Detective Graff, the portion of the video that we just watched from the February 28th, 2022 interview, does that accurately reflect a portion of your interview with Ms. Schabusiness on that date, February 28th?
Yes, it does.
And I would formally move for the admission of Exhibit 110.
Any objection?
Your Honor, can I confer with Mr. Lasay for 1 minute?
Oh, yes. She did mention that at one point she did go up into the kitchen and had contact with Mr. Hendricks and borrowed some glasses. Yes.
That's his
I have no
mom's
further questions
boyfriend.
for Detective Graff. I don't know if the court wishes to.
5 or so. So then we'll get underway promptly. Right? And all rise for the jury. We good. Then we are in recess until 1 o'clock.
Your Honor, there is one other issue. The defense then would have Scott Tomes as a witness, but apparently he's unavailable. I have him under subpoena. You know, the timing of his unavailability is suspect for me, but
Oh, Scott Holmes! Was that her only witness?
I conferred with the prosecutors and they've advised that he is simply not available. So what we talked about was talking about potentially some agreed facts that could be presented to the jury. It's an unusual situation for me to be in, but you know, as a lawyer, when you issue a subpoena,
Hi, Nacho.
People are expected to appear. So I'm caught in a difficult spot.
So
Yikes.
you can address it to me when you come back at 1 o'clock, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Judge is like Judge Petty. I want to have my lunch break now. Fuck off. Let me eat my lunch first and we'll think about it. All right, so lunch break. We're back. We got some whispering.
There's the live stream, but I understand there may also be other sources of media that are here.
Okay, so this is where they're talking about how, this is what I mentioned at the beginning of the stream. So a jury member gets a text message from like a coworker, and coworker, I forgot what the text said. It was something like, "Oh, you look on fleek today," or something, or I don't know, it was something weird like that. And the jury replied back, "When?" And you're not supposed to reply back. You're supposed to be like, "Oh, I can't talk about this case," blah 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 blah. And so the jury member told maybe like the bailiff or something like that. Bailiffs with the judge. So they're trying to figure out that who showed the footage of the jury in court. So they don't believe it's the 3 cameras that they have in the courtroom, because the way it's angled, you wouldn't be able to show the jury. But they're thinking maybe it's someone that's in the gallery, maybe the audience member, maybe they whipped out their cell phone, and they're going through court footages right now. And I don't know if they ended up, because, you know, we're behind by a couple hours, but we don't know if they end up finding anyone in the back that like secretly taped a jury or something like that and then posted on YouTube. But apparently it's on YouTube somewhere. And do we have anything about that? Anything? So they're going back and forth. Defense is like, mistrial. Judge is like, nope, we're not doing a mistrial. And then defense is like, okay, well, how about this? Why don't we get rid of this jury member and let's just have one of the backups, because this jury member is tainted now. And the judge is like, nope, we'll keep him. So he loses. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they end up finding who was maybe secretly recording or if it's even true or not. The judge was a little skeptical about whether or not it's even true. So
go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. Detective Groff, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So on February 23rd of 2022, were you called down to the police department?
Yes.
What time did you get there?
I probably arrived about 4:45 in the morning, I think.
Okay. Is that kind of a normal shift for you, sir?
No.
What's a normal shift?
7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m.
And why were you contacted to get down there at 4:45 a.m.?
As far as my duties as a detective, we can get called after hours for major crimes, and in this case, I was called by a supervisor to ask if I would assist in a homicide.
honestly, I feel like the only questions the lawyer's just going to ask is just basically have him repeat everything that he did that day. What did you eat for breakfast? What did you drink? How many times did you pee? Did you walk left or did you walk to the right? What did you do? Like, I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know. The questions are just like, nah.
Homicide investigation.
And were you...
West Virginia. No, I was not born in West Virginia. Are you asking me? No.
Were you told that there was a minivan that was found parked at the Eastman Avenue apartment complex?
Initially, my initial phone call, no.
Okay. At some point, then you were told that there was a minivan that was of interest, correct?
Yes.
And that was parked over at the Eastman Avenue apartments?
Yes.
You interviewed several people, correct?
Yes,
One being Tara Pakinich, correct?
correct.
And
This is why there's like no redirects, because the questions asked by the cross-examiner or by the defense attorney, the state's just like, okay, well, nothing really happened then. So yeah, no redirect from us. We're good.
did you also talk to Stephen Hendricks?
No.
Okay. Did you talk to Taylor Schabusiness as well?
Yes.
All right, let's go to the next
Consume
witness.
and ingest methamphetamine with Mr. Therian.
I think this next witness is, let's see, is this one of the friends maybe, or maybe Shad's father?
Be seated. The state has rested then. Mr. Freilich, the case would then turn to the defense. Do you intend to call witnesses or want to address me on the stipulated facts?
Yes, before I do that, Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion for a directed verdict. Ask that the court consider.
For a directed verdict? What? Is he saying the state didn't present their case?
Use the microphone.
Oh, sorry. Ask that the court consider that as it relates to the first-degree intentional homicide count, I would argue that there is insufficient evidence to support that particular charge. There's insufficient evidence to show that my client, Taylor Denise Schabusiness, had any intent to kill S.T. Schabusiness. What we have here is some testimony from a number of law enforcement officers. We also have some video footage from an interview between my client and Detective Groff and Detective Kempf. It's clear that my client likely did consume and ingest methamphetamine with Mr. Therian.
Okay.
Prior to his death, my client provided commentary and answered questions from Detective Groff. I would submit that what
He wants the judge to basically fuck the jury and just say that he wants the judge to say that there's not enough evidence that the state presented to show that Taylor Schabusiness is responsible for the charges and stuff like that. So basically, like, we don't need the jury to make their decision. I think at this point, there's not enough evidence. That's what he's saying.
she indicated that she had no intent to kill. The question is, did my client do it or not? That's another question. There are a lot of different issues here going on, but based on what she said to the detective, I'd ask that the court consider dismissal of the first-degree intentional homicide charge.
The judge's face.
On the grounds that there was no intent to kill. Also, there are really no eyewitnesses to whatever went on in the basement at 829 Stony Brook Lane in Green Bay. When Tara Pakinich and Stephen Hendricks went downstairs, they didn't find anybody down there. They found body parts, unfortunately, but they did not find my client there. My client was at 2353 Eastman Avenue, and that's where she was arrested. And there were no body parts over there. There were body parts in a van that was owned by Scott Tomes. That's not my client's minivan, that gold.
Oh my God. Oh, that's not Taylor Schabusiness' car. That's someone else's car.
Town and Country Chrysler minivan belonged to Mr. Tomes. So there are a lot of issues here. As to the third-degree sexual assault charge, the state's got to prove that my client had sexual intercourse with Shad Therian. I believe, based on this record, in the video, there's no evidence to show that my client had any kind of penis-to-vagina contact with Mr. Therian. We have testimony from the DNA expert that indicated it was uninformative as to the dildo. And I don't know that my client claimed that.
But she admitted it, though. She admitted to using the dildo on Shad.
Dildo was used on Mr. Therian, but there's no DNA evidence on that. And so I would ask that the court consider dismissal of the third-degree sexual assault charge as well for those reasons. Thank you. And finally, as to the mutilating a corpse, count 2.
The gall.
Again, there are no eyewitnesses to observe
The
what really
audacity.
happened in the basement on the dating question. So for all these reasons, I'd ask that the court consider the motion for a directed verdict and dismiss these charges.
Mr. Saunders.
A reasonable juror viewing the evidence in the light most favorable to the state could convict. The state's met its burden. His motion should be denied.
Okay, well, these motions are fairly common in cases like this, and
Yeah.
the court does have to, in these circumstances, look at the evidence in the light most favorable to the non-moving party. This is by no way the court making a decision about what the ultimate verdict in the case will be. That's up to the jury, not up to me. But the
Like
court's
that.
task at this point is to take a look at the four corners of the record, the evidence, to see whether the state has satisfied their burden of proof, at least to this point, such that the matter can move forward and be given to a jury. Each of these counts has 2 elements. The homicide count has 2 elements. The mutilating a corpse count has 2 elements, and the third-degree sexual assault count also has 2 elements. And the court is satisfied when considering the entire record in this case that a reasonable jury could conclude that the state has met its burden and convict based upon the evidence that has been offered thus far.
Yeah.
Again, I'm to look at the evidence in the light most favorable to the non-moving party. That isn't necessarily how a jury will look at it in their deliberations, but that's what I'm to do at this particular point. And in doing so, I'm satisfied that these motions for directed verdict should be denied, and that's what the court does at this time. So those motions are denied.
Sorry, Mr. Frolic.
And so to turn back to you, Mr. Freilich, my understanding is as a result of Mr. Tomes not being here due to some health issues, that there's been a set of stipulated facts.
Yes, Your Honor, but before I do that, I know that my investigator had made attempts to contact Scott Tomes as part of the defense investigation in this case, and there was
Wait, is his name Scott Holmes or Scott Tomes? I can't tell if the T is a carryover or if it's Scott Holmes.
Investigator was not successful in making contact. But
Yikes.
We did get a subpoena out, and the Brown County Sheriff's Department, I believe, subpoenaed Scott Tomes for court as a defense witness. The prosecutors did inform me promptly that he is not going to be available. Maybe he's got health problems or hospitalized, but they told me that he is not available. I've advised my client of this. I find that, and I'm not blaming the state, but I'm blaming him, that the timing of this seems suspect to me, that he's not available. I haven't seen any report, doctor's note, anything like that. So before I answer the court's question, I'd ask that the court consider a motion for mistrial because this witness is not here. Has been
Oh my God. How many times does the word mistrial come out of this guy's mouth? Oh, dude, come on.
subpoenaed, and I really have no recourse to call him and question him about the issues in this case. So I'd ask that you consider that motion.
Well, before I turn to the state and ask for their response, Mr. Freilich, what can you tell me? What was your expectation of what he was going to testify to?
Well,
Oh, this judge. Tell me, Mr. Freilich.
I have some highlighted sections from his statement that the state and I agreed on.
Okay.
As to what his testimony would be about. But, when you call a witness, there may be other things that come up. But I'm working off a statement. I've highlighted the yellow parts that would be told to the jury if the court.
Hey, Groovy Goose. No, I don't stream simultaneously on Twitch. On Twitch, it's mostly just gaming and then YouTube React stuff. And then on YouTube streams, I just do true crime stuff on here. So different types of streaming stuff going on there. But yeah, if you have a Twitch account, go ahead and follow. It's the same username.
I felt that was appropriate. But I felt the need, because I'm at this kind of crossroads with this kind of problem, that I would make this motion first.
Okay.
Sure. I don't think you have my question, because the question is you've asked for a mistrial based upon the unavailability of this witness. So the question is,
yes,
what was he going to testify to
yes,
so that I can assess
the mistrialness.
gravity of his not being here?
It's not a word.
I understand. Okay. Thank you. I believe that he would testify that on that Monday night, I believe that would have been February 21st of 2022, that Mr. Therian and Ms. Schabusiness came over.
Okay.
He did not know Shed's last name, but he saw him before. And that he believed that they hooked up to get some meth or do meth. That would have been about 9 p.m. on Monday night. And that he had this gold Chrysler Town & Country minivan, and his keys were on a lanyard, which hangs on a hook by his front door.
Okay.
And that he indicated that Taylor Schabusiness has used his vehicle in the past, but with his permission, and that she's always asked to use it.
Oh my God! Is he going to say she never asked for the van, therefore maybe she never used it?
And then he said she did not ask to use the vehicle last night, and that he did not give her permission to take
Copy, Miss Cleo.
the vehicle. And he said he did not call the police to report the vehicle missing. And then he indicated that he was drinking some whiskey and cranberry juice, and that he sometimes gets drunk.
Wait, whiskey and cranberry juice. I've never heard of that mix before. Oh, you have a UTI or something like that? I've never heard of whiskey and cranberry juice before. Is that a thing? What do you call that?
But not inebriated. He indicated around midnight, Ms. Schabusiness returned home with his vehicle, and she went basically directly to her bedroom, that he had a suspicion she may be high on drugs, and that he believed the police arrived 15 or 20 minutes after Ms. Schabusiness got home. And then he talked about the living arrangements in the apartment, and that Ms. Schabusiness stays in the bedroom and he sleeps in his chair in the living room. So.
No, certainly, Tam. I do feel bad for the lawyer too. But we making jabs over here. The lawyer, it's a public defender. He has to defend her. Unless there's something that arose that was like a conflict of interest or anything like that. This is part of his job. So, yeah.
Okay. So first thing I want to take up is Mr. Freilich's motion for a mistrial based upon the unavailability of Mr. Tomes.
I think the motion should be denied. Essentially, everything counsel stated, the state is willing and has prepared a stipulation to that effect. So obviously I don't think that a drastic remedy of a mistrial is necessary. I do want to be quite clear. The state does not control Mr. Tomes. We in no way told him to disregard a defense subpoena as part of our case. We chose not to call him. We were advised about the medical issue, and we passed that information along to defense counsel. So I don't want it to...
Because we can criticize what he does in trial, but if people went out of their way to harass him, then yeah, that's some fuck shit. Don't do that.
this record that we are
But you guys wouldn't do that because you guys are cool. Oh, someone just, thank you for the follow.
influencing his unavailability in any way. Obviously, counsel can still attempt to have him here and still attempt to produce him. It's an issue the state deals with fairly regularly in trials. That isn't being done, so I don't think the defense failing to produce a defense witness is grounds for a mistrial, particularly when the state's willing to stipulate to everything the defense seeks to elicit, essentially.
Your Honor, I want to let the court know that Mr. Saunders promptly let me know of this situation as soon as he found out about it, so that was appreciated.
Oh,
Okay. I don't want all the details, but as far as a medical issue, I mean, if you have a bad cold, that's a medical issue. If you are in the hospital for serious surgery, that's a medical issue too. Is he incapacitated? Is he just staying at home because he doesn't feel like getting out? Do we have a sense of that?
I think the latter. The information we received is that he was in hospital and would be for several weeks.
oh,
That was the information we received from a relative.
oh, that's okay.
Well, so in front of me then is a motion for a mistrial. A number of things. First of all, when I listened to the recitation of the information that Mr. Tomes was going to testify to, first of all, I'm satisfied that a lot of that information has already been testified to by other witnesses, particularly the individual, the mutual friend
AJ?
of Mr. Therians and Ms. Schabusiness, who was here yesterday, testified to some of the events that occurred at Mr. Tomes' apartment. Frankly, some of the other information that Mr. Tomes was going to be testifying to that was referenced by Mr. Freilich, I think was brought in through some other of the witnesses. The information about what Ms. Schabusiness did with Mr. Therian while they were at Mr. Tomes' apartment. There was reference to potentially utilizing controlled substances there, that perhaps Mr. Tomes was in either a different part of the house or had his gaze focused somewhere else while they utilized controlled substances behind his back, so he didn't see. That kind of information has come in other areas. Really, the only piece of information that I heard that doesn't sound like it came in any other fashion, except by indirect statements from Ms. Schabusiness in her interview with law enforcement, was the comment that when she used his van in the past, she asked permission, and that she didn't ask for permission that night to use his van. And there's a couple of things about that particular piece of information. I remember the information in the video where the detective was asking her questions, and she indicated in response to her question, I don't know if he knew that I was leaving or not. I don't know. I think she was uncertain whether Mr. Tomes actually knew that she was leaving. And the reality of it is, if she was utilizing his van and she was uncertain whether or not she even knew about it, whether or not he even knew about it, then that might confirm a statement whereby Mr. Tomes says, yeah, she usually asked for permission, but that night she didn't. That would be very consistent with what she reported in her interview. Beyond that, I'm not really sure the extent to which that piece of information is so relevant, that his presence is needed here, as opposed to stipulating to the facts that are outlined. For all those reasons, I'm satisfied that the fact that he hasn't responded and arrived here today due to medical reasons, I'm not going to grant a mistrial for that reason. I am then going to turn to the parties to determine if there's anything else that needs to be recited regarding that stipulated set of facts, or whether, Mr. Freilich, you've actually gone through and recited it there. Is that what you would intend to have recited?
Mr. Saunders has it, Your Honor, so I'm just going to take another look at it real quick.
Take your time.
At some point during the defense case.
Sorry.
Gentlemen, how do you want that submitted into the record?
I can mark it and then.
Wait, hold on. What did you read?
And what I did was highlighted in yellow the relevant sections from the statement he gave to police, and then Mr. Saunders' office had it typed out, so it's in proper order.
Oh, okay. Doesn't read it out.
Thank you. That's the only one, and then the only issue is whether your client's going to testify. Then how we'll proceed is I'll bring in the jury, I'll read in these stipulated facts, I'll excuse the jury again, and then I'll have the colloquy with your client about her testimony. So can you give me a sense? Do you have other witnesses?
Your Honor, I've looked at my list here. A lot of the witnesses I was going to call have already been called, so I think we're good. I will need some additional time to confer with my client on whether she wishes to testify or not, but
Okay.
that's where.
All
She's
the
not
other subpoenas
testifying.
that are out there, we'll break for a little more.
Okay. Dude, imagine if she testified. Whew.
About it today. I've advised her that she has an absolute right to testify if she wishes, and she also has a right to not testify if
Do you think she's sad that Scott didn't show up?
she so chooses. I've given her advice. I've conferred with her. We've talked about this particular issue. It's her decision not to testify and exercise her right to remain silent.
Okay.
Okay. No more witnesses, what you indicated before. Coming up right now, and those rights are that you have an absolute right to testify.
I'm just gonna let her
Is that
know.
You decided that you would like to exercise your right not to testify. Is that correct?
That is.
Okay.
Wait, that's her voice? What the? That was her voice?
You've decided that you would like to exercise your right not to testify. Is that correct?
That is.
Okay. Now, I know you've spoken with your attorney. Do you feel you need any more time to talk
Wait, it sounds so different from the, maybe because like the interrogation videos are so like shitty or something like that. Oh my God, that was like so high pitch.
to your attorney about that decision?
No, I do not.
Has anybody made any threats or promises to you to get you to make that decision here today?
No.
Okay. Any further inquiry you'd like me to make, Mr. Lezay or Mr. Saunders? No. Mr. Freilich, any further inquiry you'd like me to make of your client regarding that decision? I had here with Schabusiness that she's done that after consulting with her attorney. They took a little bit of extra time. I gave them freely, potentially, about, and I'm not sure if it's in your packet, but we'll certainly take it up. It's an instruction, the 22nd, because that is that's in the element piece. The defendant didn't testify. I propose to take that out. Any objection, Mr. Saunders?
No.
Mr. Freilich?
Well, are they working on jury instructions right now?
That'll be out. I'm satisfied that, first of all, adding that language in is a correct statement of the law.
Okay, I think we have closing arguments next. Oh my God, seriously, today? Woo! Jury's coming in.
The defendant guilty of first-degree intentional homicide. The state must prove by evidence which satisfies you beyond a reasonable doubt that the following two elements were present. First, the defendant caused the death of Shad Therian. Cause means that the defendant's act was a substantial factor in producing the death. Second, that the defendant acted with the intent to kill Shad Therian. Intent to kill means that the defendant had the mental purpose.
I told you guys, I knew it was going to be really short. I was like, it's like kind of straight to the point. I don't know. And they were really, there was no like, well, aside from the defense lawyers questioning, for the most part, it wasn't a lot of like BS. It was like, okay, talk about your credentials really quickly and then let's get into it. You know, sometimes they talk about the credentials for like 20 minutes. I'm like, oh my God.
Purpose to take the life of another human being or was aware that her conduct was practically certain to cause the death of another human being. While the law requires that the defendant acted with the intent to kill, it does not require that the intent exist for any particular length of time before the act is committed. The act need not be brooded over, considered, or reflected upon for a week, a day, an hour, or even for a minute. There need not be any appreciable time between the formation of the intent and the act. The intent to kill may be formed at any time before the act, including the instant before the act, and must continue to exist at the time of the act. You cannot look into a person's mind to find intent. Intent to kill must be found, if found at all.
Same, Madison, same.
From the defendant's acts, words, and statements, if any, and from the facts and circumstances in this case bearing upon intent. Intent should not be confused with motive. While proof of intent is necessary to a conviction, proof of motive is not. Motive refers to a person's reason for doing something. While motive may be shown as a circumstance to aid in establishing the guilt of a defendant, the state is not required to prove motive on the part of a defendant in order to convict. Evidence of motive does not by itself establish guilt. You should give it the weight you believe it deserves under all the circumstances. If you are satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant caused the death of Shad Therian with the intent to kill, you should find the defendant guilty of first-degree intentional homicide. If you are not so satisfied, you must find the defendant not guilty.
Let me use the restroom.
The second count of the information charges that, count 2, the above-named defendant on or about Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022, in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, did 1 sub C of the Wisconsin statutes. To this charge, the defendant has also entered a plea of not guilty, which means the state must prove every element of the offense charged beyond a reasonable doubt. Section 940.11 sub 1 of the Criminal Code of Wisconsin is violated by one who mutilates, disfigures, or dismembers a corpse with the intent to conceal a crime or avoid apprehension, prosecution, or conviction for a crime. Before you may find the defendant guilty of this offense, the state must prove by evidence which satisfies you beyond a reasonable doubt that the following two elements were present. First, that the defendant dismembered a corpse. Second, that the defendant dismembered a corpse with the intent to conceal a crime. This requires that the defendant acted with a purpose to conceal a crime. You cannot look into a person's mind to find out intent. Intent must be found, if found at all, from the defendant's acts, words, and statements, if any, and from all the facts and circumstances in this case bearing upon intent. If you are satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that both elements of this offense have been proved, you should find the defendant guilty. If you are not so satisfied, you must find the defendant not guilty. The third count of the information charges that, count 3, the above-named defendant on or about Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022, in the city of Green Bay, Brown County, Wisconsin, did have sexual intercourse with Shad Therian without that person's consent, contrary to sections 940.225 sub 3 sub A and 939.62 sub 1 sub B of the Wisconsin statutes. To this charge, the defendant has also entered a plea of not guilty, which means the state must prove every element of the offense be charged beyond a reasonable doubt. Third-degree sexual assault, as defined in section 940.225 sub 3 sub A of the Criminal Code of Wisconsin, is committed by one who has sexual intercourse with another person without consent. Before you may find the defendant guilty of this offense, the state must prove by evidence which satisfies you beyond a reasonable doubt that the following two elements were present. First, that the defendant had sexual intercourse with Shad Therian. Second, that Shad Therian did not consent to the sexual intercourse.
I feel like this part might confuse the jury, actually, the sexual, what's it called? The sexual assault one.
Sexual intercourse means any intrusion, however slight, of any part of a person's body or of any object into the genitalia or anal opening of another.
Oh, okay. If they mention object, then never mind. Clear cut.
Emission of semen is not required. did not consent means that Shad Therian did not freely agree to have sexual intercourse with the defendant. In deciding whether Shad Therian did not consent, you should consider what the defendant said and did, along with all the other facts and circumstances. This element does not require that Shad Therian offered physical resistance. It is immaterial whether Shad Therian is dead or alive at the time of the sexual intercourse. If you are satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt that both elements of third-degree sexual assault have been proved, you should find the defendant guilty. If you are not so satisfied, you must find the defendant.
I feel like this is going to be the quickest jury deliberation ever. All right, let's go to closing arguments. So next we're going to go to closing arguments. It's going to be started with the prosecution, and I feel like it's going to be pretty short. Oof. Okay.
First, that the defendant caused the death of Shad, and that she, second, acted with intent to kill him. Okay. And again, as I already mentioned, as we go through these elements, you heard earlier this morning that the defendant is acknowledging every element that we hear. Okay. Independent of the information you heard today, with the investigation you heard, the DNA, the other information, Dr. Tranquita's testimony, I would argue would prove all these elements as well. But you have on top of that the defendant's admissions to all these elements. Okay. So the defendant caused the death of Shad. That should be fairly clear here. Obviously, she admits that. You heard Dr. Tranquita's testimony of how Shad died, the cause and the manner of death, strangulation, excessive force being placed on the neck, producing its death. That was the sole cause of death that we heard. So let's talk about intent, right? Because admittedly, sometimes it's a tricky topic, right? We can never know anyone's intent truly, and as you're told, you're not going into the mind of somebody, right? You're kind of looking at all the facts and circumstances that you see. In this case, you have the benefit of the defendant opening up her mind to you and telling you what her intent was here. But you also have other signs, right? So what does intent mean? That somebody had the mental purpose to do something, right? Some volition. Or that they're aware that what they're doing is practically certain to cause that result, right? And you heard both, really, from the defendant. So I want to walk through that because there's a lot of points in that interview where the defendant is telling you exactly what her intent was in this case, right? His face was turning purple, right? She describes that, and how he's coughing up blood, and you know that's accurate, right? Because you heard Dr. Tranquita's testimony, and you saw those photographs. She's seeing that in person, and yeah, what did she say? I still didn't stop. No, she felt a heartbeat at one point, right? She talks about feeling his heartbeat, and she kept pulling more, and he wouldn't die. And I just wanted him, and I was like, damn, right? She admits even that Shad's struggling in this moment, that he's fighting back, right? You heard from Dr. Tranquita as well about how it looked like at one point there were signs of that, where the collar slipped up along the tongue. She's telling you, I was waiting for him to die. I liked it.
Yeah, because at some point when they were testifying, they were saying that there was like marks that looks like it was like consistent with like chain marks on the tongue, and we're all confused for a little bit, but it would make sense. Yeah, if the chain did slip from the neck and then at some point into like his mouth. Yeah, it's pretty fucking graphic.
She figured I'm already this far, and she's pantomiming the act. It's like she's starting a lawnmower. That's how hard she's pulling on this chain, right? Took 3 to 5 minutes, she thinks. And again, that's consistent with Dr. Tranquita, right? This is not an accident. This isn't a whoops. This is an intentional act, right? We don't need to prove that she went to that house with this intent, right? We talked about that in voir dire, and we kind of talked through that concept of how, as you're instructed, intent can be formed the instant before an act, the instant before the pull of a trigger, the instant in this case before Mr. Business decides, I'm going to go further and pull on this chain so hard that it causes the result that we saw in Shannon, right? So we have the mental purpose, right? From
there she goes laughing again.
Consistent with everything else we're seeing in the case.
Maybe she meant that she blacked out after it. I don't know. I heard the blackout part, and I was like, wait, did she say that she blacked out when it happened, or because I feel like they never really talked about it again in the interrogation. I don't think.
But you also have Detective Kemp asking her, in that moment, did you kind of realize if you kept pulling on that chain that he would die? She's like, probably, yeah.
Yep.
She was aware of that.
She didn't care.
Right, so that goes to this kind of second either or part of intent, right? Was aware that her conduct was practically certain to cause that result, and probably obvious as you sit here of what's going to happen when you're pulling a metal chain like that hard for that long, seeing the result of what's happening to another person, that is going to be the result, right? So you're told you can't look into a person's mind. The defendant told you exactly what her intent was in this case. But as I mentioned, you also have other indicators, right? You have Dr. Tranquita's testimony describing the amount of force that would need to have been done to cause the injuries that he's observing, right? Down to the inner neck muscles, and he's talking about how strong and thick those neck muscles are, and there was hemorrhaging that deep. That's how hard and how long, how much injury the defendant was causing, right? This isn't an accident. If it's an accident, you're not going forward. You're not seeing this result, and you keep pulling. You're calling for help. You're stopping. You're certainly not after the fact, after you finally finish, then cutting up his body, right? You have all the evidence in this case points to intent, right? You have her acts after the fact, like I said. If this was an accident, something happens, right? You call for help, and you have the exact opposite. You have the defendant cutting him up and cleaning up, getting rid of the remains, pouring it down the shower. We heard a lot of testimony about that. Kind of wiping up with the Clorox wipes, which the defendant is acknowledging as well. So you have the defendant's statement in the case, and it lines up with everything else in the case, right? Even little facts that she's remembering and telling you about, right? The timeline of the February 21st night, right? We heard from A.J. Gannon, you heard the stipulated testimony from Mr. Tomes, you heard from Mike Therian. It's all consistent. Yeah, they were coming and going. You then heard from Steve Hendricks about, yep, they got back sometime in the early morning and I let them in. Defendant's telling you that same thing. Steve is talking about how at one point during the day on the 22nd, she comes up and asks for her eyeglasses. We heard the defendant talk about that as well. We heard Detective Graff testify about that. So everything she's saying is consistent with what we're objectively seeing, what law enforcement is finding. And in some respects, the defendant's leading the investigation, right? Because when they get there, when law enforcement gets there.
Wait, guys, sorry. I actually do have to pause this really quick. Give me like 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I'll be back.
We saw Officer Wanish's body cam. We heard from Detective Scanlon and even Dr. Tranquita about how it was really hard to determine what exactly happened when they first got there. And all that information is being provided by the defendant. Okay. So it's an intentional act. She had the mental purpose. We heard about that.
Shit, god damn it. I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes I mute the stream when I run off, but just now when I ran off, I think I forgot to mute the stream. So when I came back, I hit the thing thinking that I unmuted it, and oh god, I'm so sorry. I said, hi guys, sorry, I didn't want to miss anything. Thank you for your patience. And then I also mentioned that I wonder if she didn't confess to everything, would they have been able to piece the story together? Like, I know the doctor said that like there was hemorrhaging when he was strangled, so they know that was how he probably died, right? But like, I wonder, like, you know, they probably wouldn't have actually known if the dildo thing really happened or not because she was, unless she confessed to it, right? Because they said there was no like conclusive evidence that Shad's DNA was on there, but there was also no conclusive evidence saying that it wasn't on there. So it was like kind of like, it was like a little confusing. So I feel like she just really, I don't know. Was there no plea deal for her? For confessing everything? I don't know. Actually, don't fuck that. Don't give her one. All right, guys. I think that's what I said. And yeah.
It's not, as I talked about, it can be formed at any time before the act, right? It doesn't need to be premeditated. That's not the law in the state. And it's really important, too, to not confuse this with motive, right? We heard evidence about motive, right, and her interest in Jeffrey Dahmer and all that entails.
Mm-hmm.
But intent doesn't mean motive. This is what intent means, and we proved intent, right? She caused his death, and she acted intentionally, and she told you as much.
Oh, so like in Wisconsin, first degree is intent? Because remember we were talking about Florida with Florida was Sarah Boone, right? I think for Florida, you guys were telling me that first degree was premeditated, not intent. Oh, I don't know. We should look it up.
So those are the two elements. Those are the two things.
But the judge explained it. I don't know. I skipped through it.
Count 2, mutilating a corpse. So again, there's two elements for this crime. First,
Okay.
the defendant dismembered a corpse. Second, did so with the intent to conceal a crime.
Yep.
So the first element, I think, is pretty clear, right? And we heard extensive testimony from many people, and we saw Dr. Tranquita's diagrams, and obviously I can't imagine this element is going to be in dispute, right? And so again, though, we have this concept of intent, of the purpose to conceal a crime, right? And I mean, as you're instructed, you use your common sense. Like, why is somebody going to this length? Not only cutting up a body, we heard from Dr. Tranquita about the multiple start, first, stop, and stop kind of signs, the total evisceration of Shad, bagging him into other bags and something to carry out. Like, that's the intent, right? Use your common sense. That's why you're doing that. But again, she was asked about this, the defendant. And remember in that February 28th interview, the second interview with Detective Groff and Detective Scanlon, she's saying exactly what her intent was, right? It was because there's other people in the house. What am I going to do? Leave the body and have mom find it? She admits, again, this was her intent, and it's obvious with our common sense, but it shows that the state has approved both elements of this crime as well.
Look at that
Okay.
face.
Count
Look at
3, it's third
She's
degree
scowling.
sexual assault. So the defendant had sexual intercourse with Shad and did so without consent. So I'll talk about the first part. Sexual intercourse is defined in the state as inserting any object into the genital or anal opening of another, or engaging in oral contact with the penis. We heard about both, right? The defendant admitted to both. She's talking about how she's put the dildo in Chad's anus after she killed him. She's talking about how she was sucking on his penis, and there were other phrases used to that effect. So again, we have, for both elements here, the defendant's admissions. And we heard from Mr. Scott, didn't we? We heard from Mr. Scott about the DNA testing that was done, right? And for some of the reasons why, even though the defendant's DNA is on that dildo in Shad's house, Shad's DNA wasn't found on there, and nothing excludes that possibility. And again, everything the defendant's telling you is consistent with other things you're seeing. So there's no reason to believe, a reasonable hypothesis to believe, that she's not also telling you what's happened in this case too, right? This time. And the second element, did not consent. I mean, that, as you're instructed, is kind of inferred by the fact that at the time that the defendant's telling you she's engaging in these acts, that Shad's deceased, right? So he's not in a position to consent. Okay.
Yep.
So those are the two elements for count 3. So in total, 6 elements for the 3 offenses. And again, you're given a lot of law on how to assess credibility of witnesses, and that's good, and you should follow it. Really, you kind of just use your common sense as jurors. And again, the defendant's telling you what happened, and there's nothing in the case to disbelieve what she's saying, right? So you have the defendant's admissions, as I mentioned earlier. There's other evidence that kind of just only should bolster the conviction in the defendant's guilt, right? We heard from Kevin Scott, who heard or testified about the DNA testing he did. Shad's blood on the defendant's hands, on her clothing, on the sweatpants, about how the knives that were found had Shad's blood on them, right?
No death penalty in Wisconsin. I actually got it mixed up. I think yesterday's stream I mentioned that Wisconsin, we were listing a bunch of other killers that were in Wisconsin. I think I actually mentioned Chad Dorman. That's Ohio. Sorry, that was like a random toilet thought. I was like, oh, I think I fucked that one up.
Even absent her confession, I mean, there's ample evidence here to convict on all 3 counts.
I'm sure it would have qualified if there
Coming in
was.
to talk about the integrity of the investigation, how law enforcement didn't just take the confession and go home, right? We do more, right? Send things in for DNA. We speak with other witnesses. We corroborate the defendant's timeline of things. You heard all that. And that's really important, right? We have the burden of proof. We talked about that, and we embrace that burden of proof. You should hold us to that standard as a state to prove something beyond a reasonable doubt. And that's why we call people from Madison to come up and talk for 5 minutes about, yeah, I received this piece of evidence, and it was fine. I returned that piece of evidence, and it was fine. Right? Because it's important. We want to show that law enforcement did a thorough investigation in this case. And they did. Because we have the burden of proof. You're instructed on what the burden of proof is and what it's not, right? It's a reasonable doubt. A reasonable hypothesis consistent with guilt, consistent with innocence, you should find the defendant not guilty. You're not searching for a doubt. You're ultimately searching for the truth. So even if it's heavy...
Yeah, it also depends on like how heinous the crime is.
Doesn't mean the decision is difficult in cases. You are instructed not to search for doubt, you're to search for the truth. And there's not a reasonable hypothesis in this case consistent with the defendant's innocence. There just isn't, right? There's one truth in this case. There's one side of the story. And it happens to be the defendant's story as well, but it's consistent with everyone else's story. It's because that story is the truth of what the defendant did to her friend Shad. And based on that, we would ask that you return guilty verdicts on all 3 counts. Thank you.
You know, honestly, I don't think the if we were to even get correspondence between her and Shad, I don't think there would be anything interesting in there because, I mean, if we go based off what she said, you know, she's like saying like, oh, he's my homie. Like, I didn't want to kill him. Like, it just seems like they were cool. They were hanging out. They were smoking. They were doing drugs together. And then when she was in the moment choking him, she just fucking went for it. So remember how I was like saying that, like, oh, I wonder if she had like any sort of like anger, resentment towards him because of like the way she, you know, she strangled him and then she mutilated him, and the way the bodies were found, and like how she was like playing around with his like, I don't know, like when she was like dissecting him and stuff like that, like all that crazy stuff. Like I was like, damn, like does she have like some like severe hatred towards him? It seems like no. It seems like she's just a really sick person. Jeffrey Dahmer wannabe. All right, here is the defense, Mr. Froelich.
Your Honor, may it please the court, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Poor guy.
Mr. Saunders. Well, as the attorney for the defendant, Taylor,
Why did you push the mic over there, sir? Put the mic over here.
Schabusiness, I'd like to share with you that I believe this case is a puzzling, unclear, confusing, and bizarre set of facts.
No, you don't.
It is unknown what really happened between February 22nd of 2022 and February 23rd of 2022.
No, she told us.
What we do know in this case is that numerous law enforcement officers testified. We had detectives, we had police officers, we had Dr. Trankita, and DNA experts, forensic specialists, lots of different people, some citizen witnesses. I'd ask that you consider setting aside your emotions and decide this case based on the facts that are presented.
Oh, man, the fact that he's going back and forth and not talking to the microphone. Urgh!
You've sat here for the last 3 days. You've been here in court. I know that you've listened very closely. But don't assume anything. When you deliberate about all of the facts. What we do know is that law enforcement officers on February 23rd of 2022 went to 829 Stony Brook Lane in Green Bay, this small Cape Cod home, and made contact with the occupants, Tara Pakinich, Stephen Hendricks, and Ava Wheelock was woken up, but they were all sitting at the kitchen table, and officers came in to see what was going on. There was a concern, obviously, that there was a bucket down at the end of the stairs. And you heard from Detective Roth that this was an ongoing investigation. Law enforcement, they were trying to piece this together. It was an unusual situation, so they were trying to find out what happened. Unfortunately, I believe it was Officer Plonky and Officer Monash, they testified. They came here and indicated that they went down to check out what was in the basement, and there was a head of Schabusiness in that black fleet farm bucket. And the investigation continued on. But what I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, is that there really are no eyewitnesses as to what really happened down in the basement.
Talking to the mic, please.
There was no Taylor Schabusiness there, no other people there, and so that'll be something that you'll have to consider and think about. Then law enforcement realized that there was a secondary scene, and that was at 2353 Eastman Avenue, apartment 1 in that parking lot. And you saw the video. The officers, I think it was Officer Garth Russell, and a couple of other ones, they walked up. Thank you. The officers walked up, and they parked a distance away, and they walked up in the snow, and they saw a line of cars in front of the apartment complex. And they saw that a minivan. It's a gold Town and Country Chrysler minivan, and that was a vehicle of concern. Had some snow on the back windshield. There were vehicles on either side. And the officers walked up, and they saw some lights on the van, and then they saw someone come out the front door, and it was my client. It was Taylor Schabusiness. At that point, she was arrested by Officer Russell, and another officer then realized there was a male inside of the apartment number 1 down the hall. Ended up being Scott Holmes. And he was told to lay on the ground and held at gunpoint, and then he was arrested. So 2 people were taken from the apartment building and taken down to the police station.
Damn, poor Scott. Scott's like, why am I being arrested? What did I do?
There was a search of the Eastman Avenue apartment. We don't have any body parts there. I would submit that there really wasn't anything of evidentiary value there.
Wasn't there blood? Wasn't there blood everywhere? Like on the light switch and stuff like that?
And that was that. Later on, officers and detectives realized that minivan was something that they were concerned about, so that was taken down to the police storage garage. And then we found out that from Dr. Trankita and some of the other forensic specialists, Andre, I believe it was investigator Andre, and Zarnecki. And so they donned Tyvek gear, protective PPE equipment, and they methodically investigated the back of the minivan, and they found the crock pot box that was in a laundry basket sitting on a seat, and there were human remains in there. Nobody saw Taylor Schabusiness driving this minivan. So these are some of the facts that you got to think about. Don't rush to judgment, but talk about it, analyze it. As jurors, you have to analyze the facts that you hear, and you have to apply the law that the judge gives you. It's a daunting task. So then we hear, you saw the video, the interview between Detective Groff and my client, Taylor Schabusiness. She was taken down to the Green Bay Police Department. Photographs were taken of her, and clothes were taken, and she was put in a yellow suit and then later a blue suit, but she was asked questions. And you got to remember what she said and what questions were being asked. She did say during the interview, "I can't think right now. I'm effing nuts." She said that she was up all night, that the body would rebuild itself. She said weird, odd things.
Okay.
Consider her credibility. Consider what she says. Consider what she said to Detective Groff or Detective Scanlon. She said stuff, I would submit, that she said things that didn't make sense.
It doesn't sound like she agrees with the attorney. Yo, attorney better watch out. You might get an ass whooping after this.
Says, I have no idea to some of the questions that the detectives asked her. You remember seeing the video on the screen? I'd ask that you recall that she had inappropriate laughs, inappropriate smiling, odd responses.
Yep.
I would submit that she indicated that she did not have sex. She did not have penis to vagina intercourse with Therian. She indicated that she came to the residence and they went downstairs and within 5 minutes they got to it, whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
She talked about, during the interview with Detective Groff, rebuilding muscle or rebuilding into muscle. Sometimes she wasn't responsive. She talked about hearing gunshots. But I believe Detective Groff said that there were no gunshots in the area of Stony Brook, Eastman Avenue, or some other place. She said she was paranoid. She said weird things like, I don't like open spaces. I don't like open spaces. No clothes came off. No kissing. She said that she allegedly put the dildo into Mr. Therian's backside, his butt area, his anal area. There's no DNA. We heard from Kevin Scott, DNA expert.
Made a poll. Why not?
He must have done real well in school, in chemistry and all that. But the swab from the dildo, item J1, it says the possible contribution of DNA from Therian is inconclusive due to the complexity of the mixture. So I would argue that his DNA is not on the dildo. So I would argue that even though the state is charging out third-degree sexual assault, there is no shred of evidence to support that particular charge. And I'd ask that you take that into account. No evidence at the Eastman Avenue apartment. When Detective Groff had my client come down to the Green Bay Police Department with Detective Kevin Kempf, they were talking with her for a while. The interview was maybe 3 hours or so. And then they took a break because Ms. Schabusiness had cuts on her thumb, scratches on her palms, other cuts on her fingers. Some of them were deep. You saw the pictures because I believe they were published. And she was taken over to St. Vincent's Hospital for medical evaluation. I would submit that the blood on her hands may have been her own because of the deep cuts that she had suffered or that she had.
And where she
the
get those
defense had
cuts from?
subpoenaed Mr. Scott Holmes. He was unavailable, and he gave an account of that night. And he had indicated, at least on Monday night, that would have been February 21st, that Taylor Schabusiness and her friend Shad came over. He had seen Shad before, but didn't know his name. And then he thought that they hooked up to do meth. And then he talked about his vehicle. And he talked about that Taylor Schabusiness had used his vehicle in the past and didn't get permission on that particular night. Then he indicated that he was drinking. And then he indicated that Taylor Schabusiness returned to his house around midnight with his vehicle, went to her bedroom, and he had a suspicion that she may have been high on drugs. And then he had indicated that Taylor had the bedroom and that he would sleep in his chair. So that's something else that you have to think about.
Really?
We heard from Lieutenant Buckman. He was a veteran on the Green Bay Police Department.
Okay.
And that he was doing some investigating, and he wasn't sure if Taylor Schabusiness was a suspect or a victim.
Initially.
Because it was an ongoing new investigation. So that's something you have to take into account as well.
What? Knowledge is progressive.
The state brought up
As you gather more information, it
some
changes.
photographs, a picture of Taylor with her phone. And young girls, I submit, would They like their phones. So do all kids, young people. They like their phones, and they look up things on the internet for a variety of different reasons: shock value, curiosity.
Hey, A-bomb.
But we have a situation here where Taylor did do some searches about Jeffrey Dahmer. I would submit that that's a ruse, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, and that people search the internet for all kinds of things on the internet, and that it's for shock value. So that shouldn't really play any part in this case. I would ask that you discount that and set that aside.
Okay.
Now, I would argue that I would argue that it's not a clear case here. Was this an accidental
Oh my God, we have a verdict.
death? Did Taylor Schabusiness kill
That was
Shadtherian?
so quick.
Was there intent to kill Shadtherian? Did Taylor Schabusiness have the mental purpose to kill Shadtherian? Different theories, different things for you to think about. You are all like analysts.
I mean,
You
we
have
already
to
know
assess,
guilty.
decipher the facts. The facts here are very complicated, confusing, unclear. 2 different locations, no eyewitnesses. Taylor Schabusiness, we learned that she went to school with Shadtherian, middle school.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
They
high
have a
school.
verdict.
They're friends. They hung out. You heard from A.J. Gannon. He hung out with them as well. Can you trust what someone says when they're hopped up on meth, on drugs? The state wants you to look into Taylor Schabusiness's mind to find out what her intent was. And that's a difficult task. Did she have a clear mind on February 22nd of 2022 as to what was really going on? Accidents can happen. When accidents happen, people can make other choices in a panic.
Is it less than
Something
an
for you
hour?
to think about. This sexual assault charge, how can you have sexual intercourse with the facts that have been laid out and presented to you? It's mind-boggling. How can you have sex when genitals are in one place and bodies in a different place? It's foggy, it's cloudy. It's hard to imagine, almost impossible to try and figure out what did or didn't happen. I would submit to you that no sexual assault occurred. I'd ask that you find her not guilty of third-degree sexual assault. You can't rely on everything Taylor Schabusiness says. Think about that, please. She chose not to testify under our Constitution of the United States of America. She doesn't have to testify. That's what the law provides. You don't have to take the witness stand. You have a right to remain silent, and you can't use that fact alone against her. I would argue that, based on all of the evidence and the testimony in this case, that you find my client not guilty of all the charges. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, I forgot there's rebuttals. Rebuttal? Okay.
This case is puzzling. This case is bizarre. This case is in absolutely no way unclear.
I feel like we don't really need a rebuttal, but he's like, I prepared a speech. Please let me go up there. Let me get some telly time.
It is crystal clear what happened to Shadtherian, and we know that. We know that because the defendant told you. She told you what she did to Shadtherian.
Mm-hmm.
Is it bizarre? Is it unnatural? Is it strange?
Yep.
Yes, absolutely. People do bizarre, unnatural, strange things. They engage in criminal conduct. People kill other people and they dismember them. That's what Taylor Schabusiness did. And we know exactly what she did because the words from her mouth told you with specificity what she did. Can we trust always what Taylor Schabusiness says? No, but as Mr. Saunders told you, we trust but we verify. We didn't stop at taking her statement. We corroborated. She guided the investigation with the specificity of her statement. How can we not trust her statement when she describes in detail the mechanism of injury, which is exactly what is described and confirmed by Dr. Tranquita? Excessive strangulation over a period of time with layers of injury, exactly as she described it. Described that his tongue would be out. She described that. Dr. Tranquita described that and showed you that. She described his struggle. He's struggling for his life, and she continues to pull that chain, demonstrating her intent to kill Shadtherian. Mm-hmm. And we know that because we see that in the physical evidence. We see the marks on Shad's tongue. We see the damage to his neck. She described to you what she did with his body after she killed Shad.
Oh, we don't need
and
to
we know
recap.
that it's true because the body parts were exactly where she told you they were. Detectives are finding everything she says on scene, and you saw it with your own eyes, that just what she told you is exactly where those things were located in that residence. She wasn't cloudy. She wasn't unclear. She wasn't hopped up on drugs. She knew where to find the drugs. She knew where they'd find the pipe. She knew where they'd find the chains. She knew where they'd find the knives. She knew the name of the bag where the body parts were going to be located. She could tell you that she put the organs in plastic bags. She could tell you that she cleaned up with Clorox wipes and she put them in the bags as well. She could tell you that his lower extremities were in the car. This is the most specific confession anyone could ask for, and it is corroborated in detail by the work of the Green Bay Police Department. This is bizarre, this is strange, this is unnatural, but it is in no way unclear. We know exactly what happened. We know exactly what Taylor intended to happen for all three of these offenses. She engaged in intentional conduct in each of these acts. You are asked to look at each of the 6 elements, and there are only the 6 elements that Attorney Saunders described to you. That as to count 1, she did cause Shad's death. There is no doubt she had the mental purpose to do that. And that she knew that her conduct was practically certain to cause it. She described to you how she visualized him struggling, blood coming out of his mouth, but she did not stop. He's turning purple, but she did not stop. He's coughing up blood, he's pissing himself, in her words, but she did not stop. This was a deliberate choice on her part to kill Shad Therian, and she knew that her actions were going to cause that. And in fact, she was asked whether or not she liked it, and she confirmed that she liked it. She was asked whether she was sexually aroused by killing him, and she said she was. Her mental purpose was clear. As to the mutilating the corpse, again, there's no doubt that she intentionally did that. She described the detail. She described her frustration as she's mutilating this corpse, and she described her purpose in doing so. How else am I going to get the body out of the house? How else am I going to get away with this if I don't cut this body up? And she didn't just cut it up and leave it there. She cut it up, she packaged it, she cleaned up after herself. Her purpose in dismembering Shad was clear. She wanted to attempt to get away with this crime. A crime that she intentionally committed, a crime that was not accidental, that was not a surprise to her, that she didn't wake up from this nightmare and then call the police and call Shad's mom. No, she made the second deliberate choice. After deliberately choosing to kill him, she deliberately chooses to dismember him and attempt to cover up her crimes. And likewise, the sexual assault is equally clear. There's no doubt that she had sexual intercourse, and for counsel to say that we can't merely accept the word of the defendant, you're asked routinely in sexual assault cases, juries are asked routinely to take the word of a crime victim with no physical evidence. We don't have to take the word of the crime victim. We have the word of the defendant who confesses to this crime and tells you exactly what she did, again, with specificity, and tells you know what, I did this and I did it with that dildo. And here's where you can find the dildo. It's in the wall, it's in the box, I put it away. And what happened? They found it in the box, put away exactly where she described that it would be. And she clearly was sexually aroused by this whole incident, and she described that to you herself. So clearly it follows, it makes sense, it's logical, it is reasonable that she did exactly what she told you she did. There is absolutely no reasonable hypothesis consistent with her innocence. The only hypothesis, the only choice that you have before you here today is to find Taylor Schabusiness guilty of each and every count for which she is charged. All of those elements have been proven beyond a reasonable doubt, and I ask that you return a verdict of guilty. Thank you.
Now, members of the jury, the duties of counsel in the court have been performed. The case has been argued by counsel. The court has instructed.
Verdict. Are they going to do it now? Do the verdict, do the verdict, do the verdict.
The jury, Mr. Saunders?
No.
Mr. Fraley?
No.
Very good. Then we'll bring the jury.
Oh, verdict time. I might have to leave, though. I might not be able to watch this. I have like 8 minutes. Please, jury, hurry the fuck up. Get in here. Get in here.
First verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Taylor Denise Schabusiness, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 1 of the information. Dated this date, July 26th, 2023, signed by the foreperson.
Oh, wow, no build-up.
Second verdict reads as follows. We, the jury, find the defendant, Taylor Denise Schabusiness, guilty of mutilating a corpse as charged in count 2 of the information. Dated this date, July 26th, 2023.
She gonna cry?
Signed by the foreperson. The next verdict reads, we, the jury, find the defendant, Taylor Denise Schabusiness, guilty of third-degree sexual assault as charged in count 3 of the information. Dated this date, 26th day of July, 2023, signed by the foreperson. The verdicts appear to be in order. Do either of the parties request that I poll the jury? Mr. Saunders?
No.
Mr. Freilich?
Yes.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do what's called polling the jury. It's a very simple process. All I'm going to do is go down the line and ask each of you if this is your verdict. Your answer is either yes or no. I'm going to start in the back corner, ma'am. Are these your verdicts? Yes. Ma'am, 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 are these your verdicts? Yes. Sir, are these your verdicts? Yes. Ma'am, are these your verdicts? Yes.
Wait, what the?
In the front to the right, ma'am, are these your verdicts? Yes.
Camera?
Sir, are these your verdicts? Yes. Sir, are these your verdicts? Yes. Sir, are these your verdicts? Yes. Ma'am, are these your verdicts? Okay, the jury has now been polled. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, for today, your tasks are concluded, We're going to start tomorrow morning on the second phase, at which point in the beginning I will give you some further instructions, and then we will get underway on.
Can I be honest? I mean, this is the easy part, in my opinion. This was the easy part. I think the harder part, the tougher part is going to be phase 2.
That phase. The attorneys and I have a few things that we're going to need to take up before that phase starts, so I'm going to ask that you be in the jury room by 9:15. I want to start right at 9:15, and we will hopefully get our matters resolved ahead of that time. But for today, your service is concluded. I am going to, again, read you that instruction that I've done every day since you've started. Please do not communicate with anyone about this trial or your experience as a juror while you are serving on this jury. Do not use a computer, cell phone, or other electronic device with communication capabilities to share any information about this case. For example, do not communicate by blog, email, text message, Twitter, or in any other way on or off the computer. Do not permit anyone to communicate with you, and if anyone does so despite your telling them not to, you should report that to me. I appreciate that it is tempting when you go home in the evening to discuss this case with another member.
Phase 2 will focus on whether she was responsible for the crime or suffered from a mental disease or defect.
Your household, but you may not do so. This case must be decided by you, the jurors.
The judge found her mentally competent to stand in trial, but they're going to go over whether or not during the act of the murder, if she had like a mental defect or something.
On the evidence presented in the court,
I don't think so.
People not serving on this jury have not heard the evidence,
but
and
I don't know. We'll
it's
see.
improper for them to influence your deliberations and decision in this.
Because the interesting part about phase 2 is hearing about all the psychological evaluations and stuff like that.
Case. After this trial is completed, you are free to communicate with anyone in any manner.
All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow. I have to go. I don't know if you guys saw my Discord message, but we went to the vet yesterday to swap out credit cards. And then when we were there, they were like, oh, you owe us like $5,000. And I was like, oh, it's been 2 weeks. No one said anything. Like, what? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Ugh. They kind of, when we were talking to them, the lady, they like fucked up on one of the invoices and didn't carry our balance over, and the whole thing was pretty fucked. So we agreed to them charging at most like $9,000 for Steve. We also have pet insurance, by the way. We have pet insurance for like $6,000 or something like that. But we authorized up to $9,000, and then they fucking charge us up to like $13,000, and we're like, what the fuck? I'll let you guys know how that goes. That's a fucking headache that we have to deal with. So yeah. Oh boy, RD. Oh, I see what you did there, Madison. I see what you did there. So I'm gonna dip out. Wish me luck. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. I'm pretty sure we're gonna be fucked. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be phase 2 for the Schabusiness trial, and I'll do the same thing. Usually I'll just start a little bit late, and then I'll kind of just skip through and all that stuff. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think this year is just a very interesting year. Very interesting year. Yeah, I don't know. I miss Steve though. Good luck and goodbye. Why, thank you. Yeah, I'll update you guys. I'll let you guys know what happens tomorrow. I don't know. All right, guys, have a good day. Go outside, get some breath of fresh air, you know, declutter your mind, do something happy. And then if you have any pets, children, family members, you know, give them all the love. And especially all the furry ones, okay? All the pets and stuff. Give them all the love. Give them all the hugs and the kisses. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I don't know. Yeah, it's the front desk people are definitely like fucked up for sure. But all right, guys, I'll see you later.